Well, hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy post-Thanksgiving. If you're from the Americas, happy Black Friday. If you got out and got some deals and steals, hopefully you saved some cash there. I am Rick McVick, and you're watching Gamestack. And with me tonight, as always, is Shalene.
Hi.
And Vendor.
Hello, hello.
And a very special guest that needs no introduction, but she will have one. Jessica Starr.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Shalene Vendor. Greeps, everybody.
It's
Hello,
great.
my dear.
It's great to have you here on this episode 101. No one ever enters, and no one, dramatic pause, ever leaves. All right. We're going to talk with Jessica. She's going to, obviously, we're going to go through some news and stuff, and you need to chime in because everyone is just tired of hearing from us all the time. But we have some. Well, actually, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We are sponsored this evening by Oak and Crow Coffee. You can see their logo on our beautiful screen there. Also, Vendor, thank you for the new artwork. It's pretty awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, of course.
What is this, season 2?
I hope that you guys. This is the official season 2. I hope you guys like the artwork.
So stupid. Sorry, hold a second.
If you have any feedback, send me a personal message. I'd love to hear your ideas and thoughts. Always looking to improve.
I called this episode 99 on the Twitch.
That was fantastic.
We are not going backwards.
Honey.
We're not going backwards.
So we got 100 and turned around. Let's do it again.
We're just gonna re-air old episodes like they're new.
Ultimate Forrest Gump moment. I'm tired. Let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
my
gracious.
Goodness. Yeah. So
Oak and Crow, buy the coffee.
Well, Oak and Crow is a great coffee company that roasts. Is a single roaster out of Ithaca, New York. And if you go to oakandcrow.com to their artist page, we have our own special blend called We Just Love Coffee. And if you purchase it, $2 from every bag goes to Children's Miracle Network, specifically the Baltimore Johns Hopkins campus. So if you go to oakandcrow.com, buy We Just Love Coffee, and $2 of that will go to help kids. And they also have a awesome video game, I don't know what the word is. They have like a little video game therapy that they provide to their nonprofit campus. So yeah, $2 goes to help kids get healthy and play video games at the same time. So yeah. Also, Shalene, I think we have another sponsor, right?
We do. Support for Gamestack is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Ladies, listen up. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for you and your man's jewels. For any women out there who have come across a hairy bush, you're now in luck. Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, have just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. Yes, the 4.0. Make sure your man joins the 4 million men worldwide who already trust Manscaped. With this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code WJLG at manscaped.com. That's WJLG at manscaped.com. 20% is a pretty solid discount.
Yes, it is.
Definitely use that.
It's fantastic products too.
So if you're looking for the purchase the perfect gift for him that he will actually use, Manscaped is a go-to. Goodbye hairy, hello clean. This sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer is the best thing on the market for a cleaner shave, as it's waterproof and you can trim in the shower to spare the mess. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredibly comfortable grooming experience. The 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. This new sexy trimmer includes a multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock and also gives your man the ability to turn the 4,000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. His balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code WJLG at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use WJLG. Experience premium grooming with Manscaped.
Awesome. And you can also help the show out by hosting us on Twitch, telling us your friends about us, and sharing our videos on social media and liking them and subscribing. Also, we have some new Discordians. Vendor, could you please welcome the new Discordians?
Oh, sure. We would like to welcome Lennon. We would also like to...
John, or as in, like, Lennon?
Just Lennon.
That's concerning.
We don't discriminate in our Discord. Yes, welcome to all. Welcome to Lennon. Also, welcome to Mr. Pheasant, who mysteriously appeared the day after Thanksgiving, so I'm not too sure how I feel about that. And also Sean Mobsby, which may or may not be back from the Corner of Shame. I think we mentioned him on the last episode.
I wasn't sure if we did. It wasn't in the list, so I just put it in there just to, be safe.
Anyway, Sean has been a previous guest on Gamestack, or maybe Katie Radio. So
I think he was on a Gamestack.
I think
early
Gamestack.
Him and Setsu, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. So welcome new people. The Discord has been really active this week. Everybody posting their turkey dinners in the food stack. And I've been posting my adventures in Sea of Thieves in the Sea of Thieves channel. GIF Wars went a little bit wonky this week because I started adding some GIFs, or GIFs.
What did you do?
Nothing.
They're definitely gifts, Vendor. Yeah, no.
And if you would like to join our Discord, all you need to do if you're listening live right now here on twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames is scroll right down below and you will see the link to the Discord page. Also, we have added a new link that will bring you right into the Manscaped website. Shalene had just talked about all the amazing products that they have. Again, the show is sponsored by Manscaped, so if you would like to access that link, that's available for you below.
Yes, and just to be entirely 100% open with you guys, we have to get 8 uses of the code to keep the sponsorship, so use the code.
I already bought something. I bought a single razor, single blade razor.
Safety razor. They sell those? I need a new one.
It's very nice. It's clamshell and it says Manscaped across the top. So the other one I have is all rusty. So,
that's not great.
I don't want tetanus, so it's probably a good idea to make the switch.
With a rusty razor.
Yeah, quite right. So anyways, back to Discord. It's been quite busy. If you would like to join us and you're listening live, scroll down right below. The link is there. If you are listening after the fact, you can navigate to twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames or send us a personal message and we'll make sure that you get access.
Nice. Great. So, tonight on the show, we're going to have some news. We're going to have some game stock. We're going to talk about what we're playing with our gameplay. And our special segment is all about Jessica Starr, where she started, where she was born, her social security number, and any other intimate details that she wants to get
my
into.
father's middle name?
Yes, yeah. And the last four of your card number. So, yeah, we're going to talk about all that. But first, this just in. Now, it's getting close to December, which means Christmas time, and as always, we've got some new video game releases that you can buy yourself or loved one, as in you love yourself, so yourself. Starting on December the 2nd, we have Anvil, Vault Breakers for the PC. We've got Century, Age of Ashes for the PC as well on December 2nd, along with Cricket 22, the official game of the Ashes. There's a theme I sense with that day. That's on the PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Also on the 2nd is Solar Ash. Because
no colon there.
Is
just Ash? No
just
colon.
Ash? Now I'm curious. Is it like a Wednesday? Is that like Ash Wednesday, or is it a Tuesday? Anyway,
no. Don't make me come over there and kick your Solar Ash.
So Solar Ash comes out on the PC, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4, along with, on December 2nd, Warhammer 40,000: Battle Sector, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. On December 3rd, you can get Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. I don't know. On the Switch, as well as Disney Magical World 2: Enchanted Edition on the Switch as well. Happy's Humble Burger Farm on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, and Xbox
Burger Farm? Like they're growing burgers?
Hey,
or
I don't know.
Well,
I
let's
need
check
to
it
learn
out.
more.
Yeah,
I need to know
Let's
more.
Google this.
To the Googles.
To the Google
Happy's
car.
Humble Burger Farm.
What is
Oh,
this
this
about?
is scary.
Oh,
Oh, look at this cute cow.
Oh,
Wait, why are they doing
no.
surgery?
Oh, and
I feel
this
like
is dark.
This just took a turn.
This is dark.
Whoa, we should play this.
Oh my gosh!
Wait, do you
what
make
is
burgers out of the
happening?
cows?
So basically, it looks like you're either an employee at a fast food restaurant that is like cursed.
Oh no.
Oh, what is that thing? That's terrifying.
This is not. Oh no!
Humble
No.
Burger Farm. Grow your
Look
at-
natural organic
oh
burger.
my,
I'm
the
gonna have
Oh
to-
no!
I'm
She's
gonna have
coming
to
for
check this
you?
out.
Oh
this-
no!
So did this take a turn for the worst?
This is like GTA Vice City meets fast food.
Oh,
But
gosh.
also meets like amnesia.
Oh whoa.
And
Oh
probably
my
still better
gosh,
than the recent
what's
release
happening?
of GTA.
Who is that Sparkle Man? I want to be him.
Well, if you want to play whatever the heck they're looking at, that's Happy's Burger Farm, Happy's Humble Burger Farm,
We're
coming
just
out
gonna
on
add
most
this
platforms.
to the wish list.
Quick point of order, Rick, if I can, on the list.
Yeah.
Advanced Wars 1 and 2. People love Advanced Wars. Awesome games. They're doing Reboot Camp is actually the re-release for Switch of the classic Advanced Wars. But
Oh.
Nintendo tweeted that it was delayed. I thought they were, so I just looked up the tweet. It was set to launch 12/3, now going to be spring 2022.
Oh,
so
okay. Thank you.
a little bit longer for you can get back to Reboot Camp.
I should add a disclaimer that this was not. None of the news and new releases were, put together by our lovely Joseph Tao. So this is me on my own in the wild looking for news. So prepare to be misinformed. Anyway.
Well, I mean, isn't our news usually misinformed?
Not when
I
Joseph
mean,
does it.
you know,
Joseph does a good job.
Coming you
It's-
live from France 24.
I actually looked at France
Joseph
24
is
for
not
stuff.
to blame for that. He is not to blame for that.
Oh
That was
no, I'm
all you,
totally to
buddy.
blame for that.
France 24 was all about the Fortnite ban in China, so that's everything that they were talking about. Anyway, also on December 3rd, you get Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy Volume 3 for the PlayStation 5 and
What?
PlayStation 4. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had a mouthful. That's what she said. And
Have you
also
had a
on
visit from the colon fairy?
apparently so. Actually, no, there's no colon fairy in this one.
Oh, all I heard. Now I'm magically hearing colons.
Yes,
in
you
whatever
are.
You
Fairy.
say.
It's
The
just
Code
it's just
Fairy.
one giant run-on sentence.
Yeah, there
Uh,
was enough in that name already. We don't need to insert more.
Yeah. Especially in a colon. Unreal Life.
No.
Unreal Life comes out on the Switch on December 3rd. Moving to December 6th, we have Shadow Tactics: Blades of the Shogun - Akio's Choice on the PC, along with This Is the President on the PC as well on December 6th. I am
Okay,
curious.
we've got to do an additional Google.
Which is this like? Which one is the president?
Yeah,
this one
we've
is the
got to
president.
see this one. We've got to
I'm
see
curious
it.
if this is like This Is the Police. Did you guys ever play This Is the Police 1 and 2?
No.
Really kind of fun. It's a little bit pick your path.
It's a
20-hour game,
political thriller. You are a
Mhm.
newly elected leader with a shady background. It is up to you to abuse the position of the most powerful man in the world to escape justice for past crimes, even if that pitches the country into utter chaos.
That is too close to
I was gonna
reality.
say. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
understand why
way
this is
too
like a
close to
fantasy game.
reality.
Sounds kind of like Tropico in a way, but even
Oh
more so
man,
insane.
there's like riots in the streets. This is okay. We're just dumping oil into the Gulf of Mexico.
Sounds par for course.
Looks like we've done a murder here as well.
Again, par
um,
for course.
Okay, we're just throwing barrels of toxic waste in Antarctica.
Again.
Oh, but there's fireworks.
Again, par
Oh.
for course. This all just sounds like normal everyday things that happen.
It's great. It's
Uh,
great.
So yeah, you can play IRL Simulator on December 6th for the PC.
There
Rune-
were strippers in the Oval Office.
that
Again, too close to reality.
Probably not.
that was a
Probably.
JFK and Marilyn Monroe thing. Do you guys ever think there was a stripper in the Oval Office?
I
at
did
one point?
not have
Of
sexual
course, there's
relations.
been a stripper in the Oval Office. Of
Oh,
course.
That would've
yeah,
been- that would've been
definitely.
interesting to see. All right, so Rune Factory 4 Special on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One on December 7th, along with Thunder Tier 1 on PC, along with, let's see here, on December 7th as well, White Shadows, PC, PlayStation 5, at Xbox Series X. December 8th, you see Halo Infinite on PC, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One. Shalene, you getting that?
Uh, I'm torn. I'm really hurt that it's not launching with co-op.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Yeah, you might have to
I'm
wait 3
really
months.
upset about
Because you
that.
usually play it with your mom, right? It's like
Yes.
you and her, that's your thing.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about it, and maybe we'll get it and just pass the controller back and forth. But
Also, it's on Game Pass anyway. So
Oh,
you can
that's true.
install it,
Yeah.
tease yourself, and
Yeah.
then wait and play with your mom when,
yeah, I just like I it would feel wrong to play it, and mom's like over there in the corner.
It would
being
feel
sad.
watching.
It would feel
You know,
it would feel
just-
wrong to tease yourself with your mom watching.
Making snacks.
Like,
White Shadows comes out. I said that already. Halo Infinite, December 8th. Startup Panic on PC on December 8th. Breakwaters on December 9th for PC. Keo, K-E-O, for PC on December 9th. Among Us on December... What?
yay, finally come into
Oh,
PlayStation.
Still trying to
consoles.
get. Maybe we should. Oh,
It's
never
PlayStation 5,
mind.
Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, December 14th. Along with Fire Girl, Hack and Splash Rescue for the PC. Watch out,
yikes!
A Rogue Invader is coming to PC on December 15th. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, PC, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4 on December 16th. The Gunk comes to PC. The Gunk. PC, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, December 16th. Trash Sailors, which sounds like a story Shalene's going to talk about tonight with Sea of Thieves, comes out on PC on December 16th. And then Life is Strange, True Colors to the Switch comes in sometime in early December.
I
So
am
there you
so
go.
sorry, Shalene. We're not going to be able to get back to that till like the new year.
Oh, come on.
Because like it's like 2 weeks, and then I'm in your motherland for a month.
Yeah.
So
We also need to get back to It Takes Two.
I know. With that,
really wanna
we
finish
can
that.
probably finish before I leave.
Yeah, let's try and finish that.
It's going to be on a lot of Game of the Year lists, so
Oh, absolutely.
I
finishing.
think it's my game of the year so far.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah. That's just a sneak peek to the Stack Awards coming
Oh,
to you
That's right.
in January 2022.
That's right. We're going to have to do that again. So, yeah, that's all the games you can expect this December. There are some free games with gold. The Escapists 2 is available all month. Tropico 5 Penultimate Edition is available from December 16th to January 15th. Orcs Must Die is available from December 1st to the 15th, and Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet is available from the 16th through the 31st. The free games with PlayStation Network has not been announced yet. There were some leaks, but I didn't want to go off that, so we'll have to wait till that becomes official. But the Prime games, there are 9 to grab. Frostpunk, Journey to the Savage Planet, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, Stubbs the Zombie in Rebel Without a Pulse. I like that a lot, actually. That's a great name.
Isn't that a song, Rebel Without a Pulse?
Rebel Without a Cause, I think, is the...
Oh.
Tales of Monkey Island Complete Pack, Football Manager 2021, and More Cred.
more cred.
Spellcaster University and YouTuber's Life. Good Lord, does that sound horrible?
One of these games is not like the other. One of these games is not a game. Yeah.
So those are all the free games. Yeah, and then on to the now. Since I compiled it, Shalene, do you want to take the news and kind of fumble through it, or how do you want to do this?
You decide. I hate making decisions.
Can I just make a quick comment on the games
Of
with
course,
gold?
just interject.
What a great list. So games with gold is not always that exciting lately. You know, with Game Pass, a lot of things come there.
Mhm.
But Tropico 5, a great version of Tropico, not the best, but a really good one. Orcs Must Die. It is a fun third-person tower defense game. If you guys have played any versions of it, really good. Insanely Twisted Shadow Planet. That is a great side scroller. Well worth playing. And The Escapist 2. I haven't played, but everybody liked the first one. And then on Prime Games too. Like, I just thought it was a really great list on both today, and not a colon among them on any of those.
I've never played any of the Tropicos. Are they like what's that like?
It is somewhere between a Civ and a city builder because you are using a larger map, so you're putting stuff out, but you're getting a nitty gritty, so a lot of city objects, and you're playing as a dictator in a kind of Cuba-like scenario essentially, and yeah, so you kind of walk the line. A balance between how you use your power, keep people happy, but also preserve the republic and make all the money you can. They're interesting games, very tongue in cheek.
You could be your own despot.
Yep.
Nice. I guess I'll run with the news since I kind of put it together, and if that's okay. So please interject away. But the first up is from Kotaku, an article by Brian Ashcraft. And basically, dude was arrested for reselling game consoles that were meant for delivery. A 50-year-old man in Tokyo police has been allegedly reselling approximately 200 video game consoles and games that were set for delivery. And he has confessed to the charges. So that's where the shortage is coming from, apparently. The value of the consoles totaled about 5.8 million yen, which is 51,000 US, and he has made about $26,000 US in profit. And so, yeah, he had been entrusted with $26,000, which is about 3 million yen. That's about what they estimated that he made. He had been,
So what you're telling me that if I think about my savings, I'm actually a millionaire in Japan.
Yeah, pretty much. Congratulations on being a millionaire in a country you don't live in.
I could probably buy like an outhouse here to live in. I probably would still have to take out a mortgage, but anyways.
So yeah, he had been entrusted apparently with about 200 PlayStation 5, Switches, and other games at the request of an acquaintance who worked for the delivery company, but instead of actually delivering them, he started to sell them and sold over half of them. To game shops around the area. So
just in Japan, or is like Japan, shipping worldwide, or
no? This is just in Japan, it seems. He was unemployed, so I guess he took the option to make as much as he can. But now he's got housing.
And what did he use the money for, Rick?
After he sold it, he was suspected at staying at internet cafes throughout Tokyo. So, he was, internet cafes where they have private booths where it's possible to sleep. There's also free soda and showers, which is why some people actually live there. But money, it seems like it wouldn't be difficult to recover it, they say. He says, I made off with the load because I was having money problems. The suspect is quoted as saying, adding, I bet nearly all the money on horse racing.
Horse races.
It's like an episode of Squid Game. Like,
I kind of feel like I know where all of his other money went. Horse racing. I'm going to take a wild guess at that one.
Gambling is addictive. Kids, stay away from gambling.
Yeah. I've actually never been to a casino
Moral of
in my
the story
life.
There. I can't wait to go to the casino. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas, baby. Vegas. Are you going to go see some shows?
We're going to Vegas for 3 days, and we're staying in a really nice hotel. And I am going to go up to a machine and go, $1?
Do it loud enough
and
so
then
everybody
just
can
walk
hear
away.
you.
Oh, and then I'm going to go to the Venetian, and I'm going to stand at the top of the stairs, and I'm going to go, oh, shit, it's Gloria Allred. And then I'm just going to leave.
I thought you were going to fake fall down the stairs.
Life goals. No, gambling is like, I don't know. If you're in Vegas, you got to do it once. The casinos are kind of cool, but I don't know.
I'm really disappointed that I don't get to see you in Vegas. I think just like following you around Las Vegas would be the most fun thing.
Well, see, the thing is like I've been to casinos in California, and we have casinos here in Alberta, and they're pretty massive. Like they're quite large. I wouldn't say they're as big as the ones that are in like Morongo, outside of Palm Springs is one that I stayed at, but. American casinos are just like a whole different thing. It's like it's an institution.
I've never been to Vegas. There's a casino about 10 minutes away from me that opened up recently, like part of the Hollywood casino line. And one of these days I just want to go and play some blackjack and see how that's like.
Drink scotch, play some blackjack, and then like walk very slowly past the high rollers room and pretend that you're going in there.
Be like, nah, I don't want to win that much today, and then leave.
And my mom really likes slot machines, so we'll go to a casino now and again. But she actually does really well. She's very, very lucky. So
I have.
Yeah, I think the
horrible
most
luck.
I've won is about $250, and that was on a quarter.
mhm.
Hey, that's
I
not
have-
bad though.
I've won about 3,800 in one night before, 3,800.
Nice.
I had to be paid by hand twice, and the guy's like, "Don't make me come back here and pay you again, unless we having a conversation." It was a good time.
And you're like, done.
About to get thrown out of the casino.
You know what I would have said? The game was rigged from the start.
Oh, so
Not the
good.
thing you want to say. I
No,
feel
I-
like, what kind of casino were you at where like $3,800 almost broke the house?
Oh, it didn't break the house. He was just teasing me. You know what I mean? With the
Yeah.
whole "don't make me
Yeah.
come back here." Yeah, but and honestly, nerd cred, I won both of them on a Star Wars machine.
Lovely.
Nice.
Fantastic one. Death Star spins, and you get
That's great.
So
You know what I love?
like Vegas, and I love slots.
I love watching people win. Like when somebody's got a machine and it's going off and they're just standing there and watching it like all unfold, and then people start kind of like
It's a party.
they
Yeah.
crowd around, and then it's like this thing where you all kind of acknowledge. Yeah.
In movies, you
Kinda
always
fun.
see them doing that with something like, blackjack or roulette. They want to see the big winners. But honestly, in casinos these days, there's so much flash and excitement on like bonus
Yeah.
rounds. When you get that
Mhm.
going, sometimes they can go 2-3 minutes if someone's on a roll.
So
But yeah,
fun.
you do get a crowd. So that's kind of why I liked it. And I mean, they've got all the classic triggers of video games in there. So it can be a really
Yes.
good time. But
And
as a vendor says, they
Konami
have to be
makes a
addictive.
lot of slot machines.
Yeah.
Well,
there's...
we here at We Just Love Games Network do not endorse gambling by any means whatsoever. So if you have a gambling addiction, please.
Right.
please
And that's one of the
do
reasons
not head
Konami
over
might
to
be
the casino.
getting back into games is because their pachinko business not doing as great as it was because people stopped going out to pachinko parlors in the current, climate.
Mhm. Right. Quite right.
Yeah. You know what other game had some gambling in it? Mass Effect with the Quasar machines that were kind of like their slot machines. And that happens to be, ironically, our next story.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Yeah, report Amazon wants to make a Mass Effect TV series, and I say yes all over my face. Please do that.
Oh.
Did you guys ever watch The Expanse that's out on Amazon?
I've seen the first 3
Yes.
seasons. Love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if whoever was involved with that project decided to do Mass Effect?
Perfect. Mhm.
Yes, because The Expanse is already kind of in that vein.
Mhm.
And it's a little bit more serious, a little bit more of like that tone of Mass Effect. But yeah, it's they're Amazon wants to do it, and I say please do it. There's been a lot of speculation. It says here this was first announced way back in 2010 that it was going to be turned into a movie. 11 years later, there's no movie. It was officially canceled earlier this year, so it was like kind of like on the shelf for a long time. BioWare's Mac Walters revealed that Legendary Pictures has finally walked away from the project, and he said, "It felt like we were always fighting the IP," he explained. "What story are we going to tell in 90 to 120 minutes? Are we going to do it justice? Probably not," and that's true. By the way, I should say this is from Kotaku, from Luke Plunkett.
Oh, thank you,
So-
Mr. Plunkett. Sorry.
One of the company's newest hopefuls in the arena is Mass
thank
Effect.
you.
Amazon Studios is nearing a deal to develop a series based on the best-selling sci-fi video game franchise from Electronic Arts. It says, "You will see us continuing to invest in fantasy genre of all kinds. We have a genre-focused team on the ground in studios who work tirelessly with our creative partners on those slates, and you can look forward to more." That was the head of Amazon Studios referring to Wheel of Time. And they also, are talking about, and actually, if you think about it, Amazon's doing really good with their fantasy genre with Wheel of Time and The Expanse. So we'll
Wheel
see.
of Time is really good.
Yeah, you started watching it too.
I haven't started watching it, but I've been saving it because I just bought a new TV. And so now it's like it's one of those TVs where things appear like super real.
Oh. It's a
Like,
very
you-
cinematic series.
You
so-
know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like people are like, yeah. So I've been saving all of these shows that I now have to rewatch Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, all of the Star Treks, like every show I've ever watched in my life. It's like I'm watching it for the first time. Anyways,
Moulin Rouge. I feel
what
like
was it? Waste of time?
Wheel of
Wasted time. Wheel of Time. Yes.
I'm going to take
Sorry.
I'm going to take the unpopular opinion here and say that if they do make a Mass Effect series, it should not be based around Commander Shepard.
Yes.
Feel
This
like
is
everyone
not an
agrees.
unpopular opinion.
Oh,
Yes.
is it? I would like to see Liara personally be the main character in like her
Okay.
Shadow Broker days.
How about none of the crew be the main characters?
Oh,
That
that's true
one.
too.
How about there's a beautiful panoply
tell a
of a
new story.
galaxy out there, and we run into these people, and we might come across them, like a Badger and Firefly or something,
True.
where they have
true.
cameos, maybe episodes where they're important. But let's
Mhm.
get either a crew. They could be. It's got to be probably Alliance focused.
Yeah, I
Maybe
would
it could
agree.
be. What if it was like Bab 5 or DS9 and based on the
Mhm.
Citadel, like a space station show?
That could be fun too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a whole
Yeah.
wide universe out there in Mass Effect. But yeah, I definitely
Mm.
don't think it should be based around Shepard because we've got enough Shepard. And in fact, I keep saying that the new Mass Effect game should not be Shepard focused either. It should
I
not
agree
be.
with
Amen.
that too.
It should
Mhm.
not be.
Shepard's story has been told.
Yes, that's how I feel. Like it had such a good Burke end.
Bert?
With
Oh my gosh.
excitement.
Archon in chat says I wanted to follow the Elcor action movie star.
Oh dear.
Oh man.
Didn't he
That
have
about
one of
killed
those?
me. It was
Didn't he
so
have one of
funny.
those jellyfish sidekicks? What were those?
Blasto.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Blasto was the Hanar. Who
Hanar,
had
yeah.
the movie Rose. Blasto
Mhm.
7. Actually, we got him to walk onto the set in Blasto 7 or 8, I think, in Mass Effect
Yes.
3.
Yes, you're right.
But
You're
yeah,
right.
Elcor action. That was the Elcor guy in Hamlet, and you kind of meet him out of work at one point in the
Yes.
game. So yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. So, guys, Battlefield 2042 is a thing, and as of now, it is one of the worst reviewed games in Steam history.
Oh, really? Because I remember you saying that it was one of the worst games ever. Shocking.
it has racked up nearly 30,000 negative reviews on Steam at this point. It released 2 days ago officially, at least at the writing of this article. This is by Zach Zuizen. And yeah, it's currently the 8th lowest rated game on Steam. What's cited is, broken
dear.
vehicles, bad hitboxes, shoddy PC performance, issues with bullet registration and accuracy due to the random deviation, a lack of features, and more. I'll talk about this a little bit more in my experience with playing it. But yeah, it feels like a free-to-play game that's not finished. And this is from Dyson EA, so there you go. There was also news, I think the head of the studio for DICE has left since the launch of 2042. So if that doesn't kind of point out that it's not doing so good.
Yeah, that's when
So
people
it
start
wasn't good.
jumping ship, that's usually an indication of how the state of things internally.
Yeah. And I'll have you know this. Everyone was hyping on Cyberpunk for being terrible. I don't believe anyone's left that studio, and they also have long-term plans and are releasing new updates for Cyberpunk next year. And Battlefield 2042's already released a patch that has fixed a good chunk of some of the issues that I've also played that post-patch. And again, I will talk a little bit more about that in the gameplay segment. But I did want to point out that story because it is just a wonky thing. And kind of on that note, there's some things that EA has left out of the Battlefield franchise that they consider a legacy feature. Now, yeah, so since the dawn of first-person shooters online, when you hit tab or you hit escape, it usually brings up a scoreboard that says how many kills you've got, how many deaths you have, how many assists you've got, and most of the time there's a score associated with it, like the old Call of Duty games. You kill a dude, you get 100 points, etc., etc. None of that is in the new Battlefield 2042. There's no KD ratio, there's no score board to show who's in the lead with kills. There's nothing like that. And that's because DICE has responded to this and said that, things like voice chat and a full scoreboard are not included because they're considered legacy features.
Why do teams need to communicate? Honestly, come on.
No.
I mean, yeah.
And
No, I can kind of see the argument on voice chat
Hmm.
because consoles have their own proprietary party systems, and everybody on PC is in a Discord call.
Everybody uses Discord. It sounds
Yeah.
better. Yeah, better all
yeah,
around.
so I can get
I'm
the voice
so
chat
glad
thing.
that Discord did not sell out to Microsoft.
I know,
Mhm.
me too. I mean, I totally understand the voice chat thing, but the scoreboard and also the text chat is a lot different too. You can't text. So back in Battlefield 5 and the previous ones, you could message the entire server, the enemy team, your team, everybody. You could talk, trash
Mhm.
talk. Then you could talk to only your team, and then you could talk to only your squad. And this one, you can only talk to your team, your squad, or the party that you're in. And
Oh.
I think that's really stupid because you can't talk to the whole server. Like there was a lot of fun with the trash talking and a lot of moms being, violated. But there was a lot of fun with like trash talking between the two teams, and there's none of that now. You can only talk to your team and those things. So
Can
yeah,
you at least mark and like do stuff like that? Like, can you mark enemies and plot
yes,
strategy?
you still can do
Okay.
that. Yeah, you can talk to your team through text, but it's not voice anymore. It's just a weird, especially the scoreboard's a weird thing to eliminate. It's not. It's just kind of weird that they did that. And I also like the fact that they call it legacy features. Now, nothing has made me feel more old than having something I'm used to called legacy. And then so there's that. This last bit of news I added in here because of Shalene.
Oh,
Yes, back in the day, if you've played RuneScape in 2001, I believe, they added something for Christmas called party hats, the golden party hat.
Ooh.
Yeah.
aw.
They were only released that year and then never again. And they ended up selling on the in-game store for about 2.1 billion gold sometimes because they were so rare.
Wow.
But they finally brought them back.
Yay, party hats.
Yeah, after 20 years, they finally brought back the golden party hats. So if you missed one 20 years ago,
Maybe they're bringing them back because they want to turn them into NFTs,
maybe.
like crypto.
But yeah, so now,
Oh, I like your hat. Although I think it's a slice of pizza.
it's a
It's
nice
a
little.
pizza hat. I can eat it when I'm done.
Nice. So the
it's
originals came in red, blue, yellow, or green, and purple,
We need hats
but
now.
these are distinctly gold, and that's all they are. There's no different as far as the value. The originals' rarities will still not be ruined because they're special colors, but they are
Right.
bringing back the golden party hat hunt. So if you're into RuneScape, there you go. You have your chance to get a golden party hat, and that's it for the news. That's all I could find that was interesting.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah. So I guess we're just gonna move it on to the game stocks.
Mm.
So, vendor, what happened in the world of the stock market with video games?
Oh boy, it's a bit of a trash fire today. The markets in the gaming industry kind of closed on a low note. These prices are coming in at close today. Sony closing at $121.27, down 95 cents. Microsoft down $8.23, closing at $329.68. Nintendo down 53 cents at $54.27. Take-Two actually took home the bacon today, closing at
Bizarre.
$196.66,
Holy
up
crap.
$5.35. Activision down 30 cents, closing at 62. Ubisoft up 45 cents at $44.95. EA down 68 cents at $125.97, as well as Tencent down 68 cents at $59.31.
Oof.
Yes.
Yeah, my investments have been not doing well at all.
And if you are okay with it, Rick, I will roll into the next segment,
Roll,
which is our
roll, baby,
streamer
roll.
spotlight. Streamer spotlight. I forgot to
Roll.
add this to the show notes, and I'm doing it last minute. I apologize. But guys, I have a streamer that I think that you guys should go check out. We call her T. But she goes by Teely, so Tiieli. You can find her at twitch.tv/ Tiieli, or Teely, and she's this adorable streamer. We did a Sea of Thieves takeover last weekend, and she was randomly put on my boat. I had never played a video game with her before, and I had never met her before. And we spent the whole day laughing and giggling and having just the grandest of times. So I do recommend that you go check her out. She is a variety streamer, but she streams mostly Sea of Thieves. And she's just a super chill person. And I had a great time sailing with her. So I thought we could sort of put her in the streamer spotlight for today's episode.
Nice.
Send people on over to her channel.
Nice.
Can you spell that one more time, Bender?
Teely, so Tiieli, and I'll put it in our chat as well.
Awesome. Well, as you guys may have noticed, Jessica's with us tonight. So, Jessica, tell us everything.
Wow, I did not know that we were going to be talking about everything. A special Jessica segment?
Yeah.
Super exciting.
Yep.
Well,
Tell
okay,
us everything.
maybe we should introduce her first. So Jess, thank you so much for graciously coming on the show as a guest once again. If you guys don't remember who Jess is, she made previous appearances on the show by herself, but also as part of Gamestack.
Yeah. Yep.
Dames Who Game. Sorry. it's
Perfect.
Gamestack.
No, it's
just
Gamestack.
Yeah.
We're like Voltron.
Yes.
When our powers combine.
It's the spin-off series.
Wait a minute. Voltron, when our powers combine, that's Captain Planet.
Dude, I'm mixing my metaphors just like we mix Gamestack. There
Okay.
are too many of us to be lions on Voltron anyway. There's only 5 of them. But you can be Blue Lion if you want to, Rick.
Dang. All right, I'm muting again.
Well, anyways, we have had Jess on previous episodes of Gamestack, and she has joined us with the rest of the Dames as well. She is a lovely human being, and she is very much involved in the Fallout universe, previously and maybe still running the HOA, Fallout 76 HOA, as well as she is a co-host on the podcast The Fallout Feed, one of our neighbor podcasts. So if you haven't checked them out, you should go and check out the Fallout Feed podcast. They're a fantastic group of people. And you've got a bunch of other stuff going on, don't you?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us who you are and what you've been up to lately and yeah, all the things.
Tell us about your childhood.
Oh, God. Well, I don't remember that far back. But honestly, did we ever really grow up
repressed
on this show? Yes,
Apparently not.
exactly. So yeah, I do a number of things, like you said. Love podcasting with the Fallout Feed and Dames Who Game, and that's going well. Fallout Feed, we're up to episode 340 soon. It just keeps
Jeez.
going.
That's a bunch.
How long has that show been running for?
It started 2015 before Fallout 4 released. I believe it was July of 2015 was the first episode. And then it was sporadic until the game launched. And then it was more regular. And then Andrew took over as the main host right around the launch. And then, pretty much weekly since then. We hardly miss a week.
They started just a couple of weeks before Off the Record did.
Oh,
So,
gotcha.
yeah.
That's a long-running show. Congrats.
Mhm.
Thank
Yes,
you.
That's fantastic. How has the show changed since it launched in 2015?
Well, it's funny because it was a spinoff from Skyrimatic podcast, as you all know.
Right,
And
right.
Andrew had been a regular over there and doing the roundtable with them, which is the roundtable is where we do characters with randomly assigned attributes, play through the quests, and talk about how, different skills and backgrounds and all that handle quests in different ways. And so Michael had started, Michael being the founder of ASA podcasting, he started a Fallout 4 podcast, and he's like, this is cool, but I have time for both of these? And Andrew, why don't you step in? So Andrew hadn't really played Fallout. He came from a Skyrim background.
Oh, so
And
he
so-
knew what Bethesda was all about.
Yes, exactly. And there's been a number of hosts over the years, Andrew being the longest running, then Ray and myself coming up, second and third longest running. But we've had a few people join us in the beginning and in the middle. One of the things that we like to do is bring in people from the community. So we tend to involve a lot of community feedback, and we have shows that are specifically like, hey, come on and guest with us, like you guys do here with me now. Thank you again for having me. So how has it changed? The first year or two was almost like discovering Fallout and the joy of it, and literally playing quests for the first time and talking about them, somebody new to the series. And then by the second year, somebody who was very familiar with the series. And by the third year, we're like, okay, we played a lot of Fallout 4. Let's try New Vegas. So I did that, and I came in right around the 6th season as a regular. And since then, we've done Fallout 3, we've done more Fallout 4 plays, we've done Fallout 76. And the concept there is that each season, so we're always news, we're always talking Fallout. But then we set up a season, we're like, okay, this season we are playing all of the Fallout 4 main quests. We do our random character, and we do that for Fallout 4 main quest took almost 6 months. So we do an episode playing through a quest, and then we get feedback from listeners playing through a quest. And it's just a great time. And so how has it changed? It's really evolved. The shows have gotten longer. You would think you'd run out of things to say by episode 200.
They just they just get longer, and you don't even notice it. You start out at like 45 minutes or 30 minutes, and then like suddenly it's your 100th episode and you're 2.5 hours in. What?
Yes, that's what happens. It's when you're a community show, you're convincing with your friends, you've got people in chat to talk to. So we're trying to ratchet it back down. We broke the 3-hour mark for a while back last year, and we're ratcheting it back to 2.5 being kind of regular now. I always wanted to be more concise, but some of us are long-winded, so get us talking about food and stuff. So I do that, and it's just been wonderful. So yeah, I guess I've been full-time with on the show since just before 76 launch, so over 3 years now.
Wow.
Congratulations. That's a huge milestone. And congratulations to the entire cast over on the Fallout feed. And I mean, obviously, I think I speak for both Rick and Shalene, maybe not, but we'd love to have all of you on the show as guests.
We've never
Absolutely.
done that, have we?
We've had Shalene as guests a number of times. Bender, we've had you on. Rick, I don't think we've ever had you.
Rick
I've
has
never been a
on the
guest.
Fallout
I know you're busy.
feed. Rick has too been on the Fallout feed.
No,
it's
I
been
have
a long
not.
time. We went together.
It was before my tenure.
We went together once. It was a long
Before
time
my tenure.
ago.
Well, I always pick on these guys and say that I never got invited to anything, but I guess I did then once.
Yes, you've been on the Fallout feed at
did
least
I do something
once.
wrong? Did I say the
great-
wrong
they're
thing?
great group.
You say no a lot because you're very busy,
That's just it.
and there's a
Oh,
point
yeah.
when people stop asking.
It works,
Rick,
doesn't
when
it?
you always say no.
Then
Well,
why don't
I
my
mean,
parents
yeah.
stop calling?
Well, that's different. That's definitely a different thing.
Yeah.
They haven't spent 3 hours on a boat with you. So, well, maybe they
should.
have. I don't know. Let's not go into Rick's childhood. Back to you, Jess.
So, anywho, I've been a gamer for life. I'm one of those that started in high school or even before. My first system of my own was a Nintendo, so it's all the way back there. RPGs primarily.
Classic Nintendo or Super
NES.
Nintendo? Okay.
NES was my
Nice.
first. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Back
Legend
when
of Zelda.
Did you do speed runs with Super Mario?
I did not do speedruns. No. In fact, I was never a huge Mario fan. I mean, I liked it okay, but RPG, adventure, puzzle, that's my kind of stuff. Give me Adventures of Lolo. Give me
my gosh.
Dragon.
So good.
Isn't it though?
Oh, it's so good.
I love that kind of puzzle game. Dragon Warrior, one of my first RPGs, Bard's Tale, Ultima. I come back from the 80s, and that stuff just amazing. And I just got more and more into it, in the 90s, and playing all the really hardcore RPGs that I could. Not Fallout, funnily enough.
What was your first memory of a video game? Like, what was your first game that you played?
So my first memory was actually Super Cobra at my uncle's house on Atari, sitting on his shag rug and holding the controller while he's trying to help me do it. And
shag
we're doing
rug.
it was I think it was actually. It's one of those.
Effervescent poop
This
stain
is like
brown?
84 or something. And I'm just a little kid. I don't know what I'm doing, but yeah, it was a if you guys know Super Cobra, it's a helicopter game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I remember this one.
Yeah. That's great. So you grew up with video games. It's a huge part of your life.
Absolutely. Staying after school to use the Apple IIc and play some Bard's Tale. Or, oh my gosh, my early favorite, Where in the World, Carmen Sandiego. I like geography and maps and all that because of video games.
Oh, really?
Forgot about
forever.
that game. Yeah.
Mhm. So good. So good.
Isn't
So anyway,
map making part of what sort of brought you to the attention of the Fallout Feed community in the
oh,
beginning?
in a
Yeah.
way, yeah. I'd already been around and contributing a little bit, but at one point, we started a Minecraft realm. So we decided to do a Fallout Feed Minecraft realm, Feed's Wasteland, and I went through and I mapped the whole thing. I did a paper map and colored it in watercolors, and then you can actually map in Minecraft, and it was a Fallout theme realms world. So I went and I built a giant map. And yeah, that kind of, just kind of a group project that brought us all together doing the mapping.
Nice.
That was like 2014 or so.
Yeah,
Oh no, like
I
2016.
too have a thing for maps. It's this weird. I don't know. Maybe when I was in London, I was at a conference in Oxford, and if you're unfamiliar with Oxford, it's a city, but it's basically an entire campus or a collection of different university campuses. Anyways, we went into this antique map shop, and it was like, it blew my mind. They had maps in there that were like $30,000
Woo!
for a map, and it was like
Wow.
on the wall, and it was this big framed in this special glass that was like
Amazing.
impenetrable by light or something, and like
Very
maps
UV.
from the 1700s that were like, yeah,
That
I think
better
every
have led
house
to
should
some
have a
treasure.
good map.
If you're a fan of fantasy, you enjoy fantasy or role playing D&D stuff like that. I mean, you just kind of naturally start to gravitate towards it. So Carmen Sandiego made me fall in love with geography and world geography and knowing all that stuff. But it was honestly the maps in fantasy books that made me really fall in love with cartography in general. Getting the fancy ones.
Yeah.
Your pack-in Morrowind map in a in your box copy of Morrowind. The map in the front of the Lord of the Rings. All that stuff.
Yeah,
Or
we
Wheel of
should
Time.
do an episode. We should do an episode on video game maps,
I miss those
and like
like
have
hardcover
Jess back
maps
on
you
as a
would get.
guest.
Yeah, I miss the maps you would get in like the boxes and stuff like that, and you could kind of look at like I loved
Yeah.
opening up the Skyrim and Oblivion and maps. Which
Like, how many of you had the
Nice.
Skyrim map tacked up on your wall?
oh
That
I
is
did.
Ultima 3 right there. Ultima
Oh
3.
nice.
Yeah.
My
I still have the Skyrim map, all of them right nearby.
my father-in-law played this game. It was like an MMO game online. I don't know if it was super popular, but like you paid for things with real money, and like somebody owned like a space station that they paid like $200,000 for in real money, and they would like make money off of
Was
it
that
somehow.
Eve?
No, it
Eve
wasn't
Online?
Eve. No, because it was like a third person kind of thing. I forget what it was. But what he ended up doing was he would run around and hit a certain button, and it would give him like coordinates, right, on where he was in this world. And then he would go into AutoCAD and plot out the actual map. And he would just run around different territories, and like gangs, like in the game, gangs would pay him to map their territories out for them. and
That
so
is
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. So it's game maps are really cool. I miss those hardware maps.
And it's not something that, like, I'm just realizing this now, but people don't really talk about it all that much.
Now
It's always this inherent component of a video game, most
map.
open world games anyways.
the M button.
But nobody really talks about maps and how
Yeah.
important they are.
Yeah.
They are so important. I mean, one of my favorite mods to come out for Skyrim, which I'll be talking about when I'm playing a little bit, quality map with roads. If you got mods that improve maps, just love it. Love the maps, pack-ins or otherwise. Super
Have you-
important part.
Have you ever checked out the map for Kingdom Come Deliverance, Jessica?
No, I haven't.
It is one of the most unique looking maps ever because like I used to have this old pop. You remember the pop-up books in the 90s? You'd open up the book and the thing would go
it's a
and pop
pop-up.
out. Yeah.
Mhm.
I had a Christopher Columbus pop-up book, right? And in like the beginning pages,
Oh no.
No, in the beginning pages was like like how they used to draw old maps, and they're like they would draw the sea serpent in like uncharted waters, and it was kind of like
here
this
there be
look.
dragons.
Yeah, well, that's how the map of Kingdom Come Deliverance looks like. Is like ye
I
old
love
drawn.
that stylized.
It's so
Mhm.
cool, and when you fast travel, your character moves around like a little like statue thing through the thing.
Does Sea of Thieves
really
have
cool.
that a little bit too? The whole Here There Be Dragons? It should.
I don't think
Thieves
they
has-
do in the map. No.
Well, there is some lore. I don't know. Sea of Thieves has actual land masses, but then there's areas of the ocean that are like regions, and then now they have these underwater like things called treasuries and shrines that you can go swimming in. But there's also like a lot of lore about the ocean that the community has kind of created. But I won't go into those details because we're here to talk about you.
Well,
Well, I didn't mean to derail us there with the whole map talk, but yeah,
No,
so
it's fascinating.
you know, gamer for life. In the 2000s, I didn't play as much. I kind of, you know how it is.
We
You
all
get to
have
the point
those
where,
times. We all
yeah,
have those
you
times.
put your head down, you're working, you're going out having fun,
We
this
all
and
have
that.
those
So
times.
pretty much between Morrowind and Oblivion, so 4 or 5 years, I didn't really play much, and even then, I didn't jump into Oblivion hard until my second or third playthrough, which that might sound odd, but I started on PC, then I got an Xbox in 2008, and that's when I dove headfirst back into gaming. Like seriously, I got the Xbox because Oblivion was exclusive to it at first, Fable on there, Mass Effect, some of my still favorite games, and 2007, what a year. But 2008, I got the Xbox to play them, and just fantastic. And so then I started paying attention more to games media, participating in a lot of forums and groups with G4, and other things, just kind of contributing where I could, and just fell in love with all of that. Fell in love with podcasting at the same time as a listener. Probably 2010, 11, I started listening regularly, and then joined in over time. I started moderating. IGN has a podcast called Podcast Unlocked, and
I listen to that show sometimes.
Yeah, I started moderating, their Facebook group of all things, which kind of messy. I'm not there as much these days, you can tell, but I'm in there, and just anything to do with gaming, I got my hands on and really got into. But Bethesda, BioWare, any kind of long, detailed RPGs, always my favorite.
What about tabletop?
My biggest tabletop love was Vampire the Masquerade. Oddly, I played D&D growing up a little bit, and then off and on, but not much. Vampire the Masquerade, Cyberpunk. A big fan of Cyberpunk 2020 at the time, not 2077. But since then, not so much. I mean, I'll do an occasional adventure. I've had the D&D group with some friends like 5-6 years ago. Mostly an excuse for at the time my husband to roleplay a bard. He got very excited. He put on a Eurotrash accent and barded it up for a while. And I just let him chew the scenery. I was just there, to fight when we had to. Good times.
Yeah. And so like video games really played an important part in like shaping who you became as an adult then.
Absolutely. I like to say that so many of our interests kind of spring from that sort of thing, your favorite style of games, so you read fantasy books, play fantasy games, and then over time post-apocalyptic. But yeah, it informs everything. And as time went on, I just started doing more and more with it, doing art, joining a podcast, videography and virtual photography in games. Obviously, I'm a little bit known for that now. I'm not one of the great virtual photographers, but I do a lot of it, and I really enjoy it. And now with the advent of photo modes the last couple years, so different.
Oh my
so
gosh.
different.
Every
What
game
was
is
your
photo
guys'
modes.
Like there's so many like photo mode in like No Man's Sky and Red Dead Redemption and Fallout 76. Fantastic photo modes.
So good.
Amazing.
Yeah, because you used to have to use console commands. Like I got seriously into virtual photography in Skyrim on a PC install around 2014 or 15. But you had to open the console, kind of unlock it, and it, there wasn't much control. You could just move the camera. And my first real photo mode was probably Hellblade, right?
Okay.
What's the name of that game with
Senua's Sacrifice?
Yes.
Did that have a photo mode?
It does. It does.
Yeah,
And
it
it's
What a
too
game with a
I
photo
spent a
mode.
lot of time in Hellblade's photo mode.
What
a
a
lot of
game.
time. I spent
Like
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
time in
the
therapy
pictures in my
after
wallpaper
Hellblade.
folder are from Hellblade.
That's great.
There's one game that I never play around with the photo mode very much unless like a mission tells me to take a photo of something. But one game that I wish had photo mode was Kingdom Come. There are just some really cool, pretty moments in that game where I'm like, I want to see myself, but you can't really view yourself in game. So it's like, I wish it had that. But yeah,
there's
feel...
some games that I wish had photo modes, like Sea of Thieves, for example.
Yeah.
The Sea of
would-
Thieves needs a photo
would
mode. I am
probably
so
benefit.
hurt
Yeah.
that I can't take like good photos in Sea of
Mhm.
Thieves. It's just
Yeah.
awful.
And like, it just makes you think back when like red versus blue machinimas were a thing. Like how hard that must have been
Yeah.
to do machinima in a game that did not have any sort of friendly console commands or anything.
Amazing.
Just
Yeah,
You know,
early machinima. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, some would call it a game. It's arguable, but Microsoft Flight Simulator has an incredible photo mode.
Oh, that's a game.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible. While I mean, the more serious flight simmers would argue that it's actually a simulation
Oh, well,
and not a game, but you know, we won't get into that.
But
yeah,
they can-
I knew this one guy that had a stand-up desk, and he had the 180-degree monitors and the flight stick and all the controls, and he'd get on at night and play with friends. Actually, you don't do that, do you, Vendor?
No,
I'm describing this, and I'm like, wait a second, this sounds kind of like Vendor in like a
Nope.
truck, but for flight sim.
no. Well, I mean, I do. I haven't actually fired up Flight Sim since I rebuilt my streaming setup.
Yeah.
And I've got to do that, but I'm crazy too. I've got
Oh, we've lost Vendor. He's
The
out of the
full
frame. There it
throttle.
is.
Oh wow!
the full throttle quadrant. So like, you know, like the pieces go in the top here, and then they kind of just. But yeah,
What does this lever do? Oh my god! Analog control of digital games. Good times.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Hey, look,
Anyways.
I'm a fan of analog, so
Yeah, amen.
So when did you realize that you were like really crazy into video games then? When was your tipping point where you're like, okay, I might have gone into this a little bit too deep?
Well, first of all, I'm not there. If I had that realization, it was probably within the last 2 years, as far as too deep, because it's kind of, become my life to a large extent. But I've been game crazy forever, conventions like that. My first video game convention was around 2011. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's really just all the teens that I've
Yeah.
just been too far.
Which video game conferences have you been to?
Just PAX, just a couple different
Okay.
PAXs. And I've done other conventions, sci-fi conventions with a gaming component, because there often is.
Yeah.
You either a tabletop section where
Cut
people are
from
doing
the
that
same
kind of
cloth.
gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's all woven together these days.
It really is, and there'd always be like a gaming area. You go to say like a World Con for writers, fantasy and sci-fi writers, and I've been to a number of those, and just usually hung out in either the dance area or the gaming area at
Yeah.
them.
So now you've sort of dove into the Fallout universe a little bit more in the last couple of years, and you've really sort of taken it upon yourself to actually build entire concepts and lore into Fallout 76 specifically. Do you want to talk about Fallout a little bit and like your
Along with a lot of
experiences with-
other people in the community, and that's kind of what's so great about 76 is that it is such a community. So what we have at ASA Podcasting, and we just love games, stuff like that, are communities of people who tend to gravitate to similar games. And myself with Bethesda, I would play a full playthrough of a Bethesda game every year since about 2008, at least one, if not two or three. Fallout came out. Well, I never had to stop. It's the playthrough that never ends, right? So, yeah, honestly, you guys, I'm
That's
at
true,
just about
that's true.
3,000. I'm at about 3,000 hours, and hilariously,
That's a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little bit.
Xbox just did their little gaming museum. You can see your most played game, and it's like, bam, right up there. So technically, it's like 2889 or something, almost 3,000.
Jeez.
So
Wow.
what happens when you do that is that you maybe run out of actual normal gaming content, but you meet people while you play. And so there are a bunch of role-playing groups that sprung up and a
Yeah.
bunch of building groups that sprung up. And kind of like what we do at ASA Podcast, which I mentioned that, is kind of a microcosm where you're creating a character and playing your way, meeting other people who do that sort of thing and building a world together. So there's all kinds of lore. In fact, the Free States militia. You guys have heard about them. In fact, you talked
Yeah,
about them
we
once on the
talked about
show
them, yeah.
when they got kicked off Facebook.
Yes.
Yes.
Like three
Twice.
times. Oh, it's
Yeah,
twice.
no.
Yeah.
But my friends.
Oh,
my
right,
fr-
because militia.
yeah, my friends Jess and Bobby run that group, and so the first time they got unbanned, they stayed on Facebook. The second time they got banned, no, they just didn't go back. They moved to Discord
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have this hashtag We Are the Lore, that's the idea there. The stories we build have created kind of fleshed out Fallout 76 for us, because in many ways 76 has some of the most amazing story Bethesda has ever put together. The original main quest, delivered by holotapes, terminals, and robots, was maybe the most desolate, most depressing, and beautiful story told in Fallout as as a single story.
Yeah,
thank you.
Agreed. I agree.
Thank you.
That's why I recommended to a vendor back in the day when he was trying to play. I'm like, just do it on Fallout first. Play alone. A lot of people talk about 76 as, oh, this is a game that's meant to play with friends. That's what makes it fun. Not in my opinion.
No,
it's
wonderful. You got to do the first run.
There was that beauty of not having Wastelanders. Those of us that played without Wastelanders, there was that beauty of that solitary nothingness that is quintessential to Fallout, that nobody will ever experience again. That now that Wastelanders is out.
Changes in that world sometimes. I realize that it's the natural progression to keep the game alive,
and it's a living world. Yeah.
Also, it makes me a little sad, some of these changes.
I miss the world that was. The world that was after the world that was. That actual desolation where you're kind of like, dead cities, little future sound of London going on, and you're walking through and just nothing and no one anywhere. And up until Wastelanders, the game really, really had that.
Yeah.
And I, the changes have been great. Don't get me wrong. Wastelanders coming in, NPCs brought a lot of people back. Other things they've passed along the way. A lot of neat things. I mean, I'm still finding new locations out of Wastelanders I hadn't been back to. Some Blood Eagle camps, stuff like that you just wouldn't go to.
I really wish that Bethesda provided an offline mode for 76.
Well, they do.
You just have to pay for it.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. You have to pay
still
for
online,
it, right?
Well,
you should have.
Online,
you should, if you want to play with friends. That's where, I don't know. We're getting into this
I know
rabbit
we
hole
have.
Where we've been before, but
we have a wish. You have a wish, and I think you're not alone in that. But it is possible to play by yourself in the game as it is, and do so in a Fallout First server. But not only that,
pay for it.
If you're playing in public, you really don't need to interact with other people. There have been a few phases, but griefing, not really a big deal in 76. There have been a few phases, but not much. You can play forever and ignore people.
It touches on that thing, though, that Shalene was saying, that, like, you're completely alone in that universe. And, like, if I see somebody scurrying across in the distance in the field, I'm not alone anymore.
No, I know. Sexbox 420 jumping around in the background kind of, ruins the touching scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of why I could never get into ESO either. Was like, it's like, you've got to sneak in and steal this thing from this dude, and you're gonna do it alone. And you're like sneaking in, and there's like 15 people hopping around.
Yeah,
you're like,
you and 5 of your best friends.
And the guard is just standing there like, I see nothing. And it's just
so you've been
that bothered me in ESO very much as well.
So in the last couple of years since Fallout 76 launched, you've been really involved in the Fallout community. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and what you've been involved in and what you are currently working towards, or some new things that you've got?
I talked a bit about the role-playing and building communities, and those are some of the ones I'm a big part of. There are a lot of. It's funny, being a sandbox game, 76 can foster all these different communities. So I've always kind of seen my role in that as a creative and, a bit of an outgoing personality with podcasting and this and that, as kind of being networking between all these disparate groups, because a lot of people stay in their lane. You know what I mean? They're in there, they're playing game with their 3 or 4 friends they play with regularly, or their group, but they don't really interact with other people. And so you've got the role players here and role players there. You've got people who love to build here and just build all the time and don't talk to others. So in our Facebook building group and in Reddit and via the podcast and all that, I like to introduce these people to people. Doing so with pictures, with videos, because I do a lot of YouTube too, or I haven't so much this year because of all the streaming. That's kind of where I see my spot. Is I like to be an ambassador for 76 and the Fallout community in general, to try to know a lot of the people in there and their communities and help them meet other people that they would gel with, because it can be really solitary and lonely, and it's good to be able to meet like-minded people, broaden your horizons, and broaden your friend group. Which I know goes against the whole playing solo, but that's kind of the idea. You can still play
but
solo.
I mean, that was a big part of 76 is that community feel, right? That was what they were going for, and I think that they achieved they achieved that quite well. And I think, you've played a really big part in that.
I certainly try, along with a couple of friends. Like I said, different groups. It takes somebody in each group who's willing to reach out and chat when you make the overture. And so I love it. We've seen these different role-playing groups come together, do deeper and deeper lore videos. Where now the Fallout 5.0, for instance, who play the Responders, they had joined with Free States, they joined with the Vultures, they joined with the Order of the Lamp, and they're doing these larger videos, and all these different factions coming together. And from those things, something bigger grows, and the community does that all kinds of things, doing stuff with game shows and events. So what have I done? I've just tried to be there, tried to help people meet each other. I do YouTube videos on building techniques and stuff, because building is my primary interest in the game. And then I also do thank you, teach techniques, guesting on stuff. I'm gonna pause just 1 minute.
We've got some pug situation happening in the background. The pug's name is Alistair. I love the pug.
The unofficial eighth guest.
Oh, look at him walking around back there.
Gamestack.
Yeah, he's all proud of himself. He heard
Well,
he
he
heard me
probably
say his name.
hears you talking, and he goes, "Who are you talking to? I want to talk too. Can they hear me? Can I have a treat now?"
Is so used to this. He's got his little couch over there with his blanket and stuff like that. He's a 9-year-old pug, almost 10. So, he's getting the age where I might start to be able to set up a dog cam for him while I stream. He'll just hang out.
That's adorable. Adorable. If anybody is interested in following Jess on Twitch, you can wander over to twitch.tv/JessicaStar77.
So, okay, here is my stuff. I'm so sorry. So things I do, said photos. So I've got the YouTube, and then my Twitch network is United Wastelanders Network.
Okay.
So that's twitch.tv/United Wastelanders Network, all one word. And that's the UWN we were talking about earlier. And we do entertainment shows, building shows, all kinds of stuff like that. A couple nights a week, usually.
Your talk shows are fan-freaking-tastic. I watched the one, so good. The set design, it's insane. You do such a great job with those.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But so yeah, that's my big thing now is streaming. I'm not doing the YouTube as much, doing the streaming United Wastelanders. We're at about a year and a half at this point we've been around, which we did after the demise of the HOA that you mentioned earlier. I was part of the HOA. After that kind of folded a little over a year and a half ago, we started up our own network with some of the same people and some new blood too.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, I mean, go ahead, Bender.
So I still have questions.
Well,
I still have all
dude.
kinds of questions.
This is your thing. You
Tell us
went
about
radio
the HOA.
silent.
Sorry, I was muted for a second there. Tell us about the HOA, because that's one of the really cool things that you've created in the Fallout universe.
I can tell you about UWN, absolutely. So HOA, former group, was part of it, no longer, way gone. We have United Wastelanders Network, UWN.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yep, and just we do a bunch of stuff, primarily camp focused. About building. We do showcases every Thursday. We call it Everything Camp because our humor is campy, and so are the builds. It's a good time.
And you mentioned that you're working on something new. Are you able to talk about that or comment on it?
Oh, something new. Well, let's see. What do I have new? Well, I think you might be talking about our upcoming event we are doing. So that's not just me, but the Fallout community as a whole doing Fallout for Hope. Can I talk about that for a minute?
Yes, absolutely.
So you guys may remember last winter, Kenneth Vigu from the Chat of Fallout 76 podcast started Fallout for Hope, which was the idea of Fallout players coming together to raise money for a St. Jude's charity over the course of a week, almost 10 days. Started with a modest goal, but asked anybody to come on board as streamers. So we were one of the founding people in there with UWN. A number of our other friends jumped in on that, and then so many people jumped in. Some people from YouTube, some people from Twitch. We had over 400 streamers join in, and last year, over the course of that 10 days, raised about $110,000. Yes, $110,000.
Stupendous.
just amazing. It blew our minds. It got bigger and bigger, and we got people coming aboard. Many a true nerd, just a bunch of cool people. Okay, and that was wonderful. And then after that, we kind of got the idea of starting a Fallout stream team, which it has wrapped up now. But we did a little stream team for this past year too. I didn't even talk about that, but I ran that with Kenny and Shreds and a few friends. Got a number of Fallout streamers to come in and kind of help boost each other, publicize each other during a year when this year there was a little bit less content in 76. And so we wanted to kind of keep the fun going. That whole create our own content, do that. Well, we have wrapped that team back into the official Fallout for Hope stream team this year, which not just to benefit St. Jude's, but working with St. Jude's. Nice. So they are coming on with us. They're giving us our own page and helping to kind of recruit talent, people to join us, show up for events. Let me just kind of read from the press release. So I say this right. Make Kenny proud.
Yes, please do.
Last year, the seed of an idea was planted that brought Fallout streamers, creators, and gamers together from all over the world to do something about the children in need who face illness every day. It wasn't about consoles. It wasn't about our favorite Fallout, anything other than working together to save lives. We achieved no small miracle, over 110,000 raised in just 1 week to offer hope to children. This year, we need your help to help make that miracle happen again, and then some. We are going for $500,000 in 2 weeks. That number isn't arbitrary. They are numbers that give the gift of life-saving surgery to 20 children, 20 lives given hope, and all the ripples in the world they could create in their lifetime. War never changes, but hope can save lives.
That's fantastic.
Jeez.
So that's the goal. We're doing events December 3rd to the 19th. Awesome. 2 weeks. Have some amazing events lined up for you guys. Just watch for the hashtag Fallout for Hope. I'm doing a show, Flip This Camp. I'm having a number of builders come in. I'm gonna have them flip that camp.
You're like the Paige Davis of the wasteland.
I'm trying.
Move that bus. We can't. Honestly, it doesn't work anymore. Oh. Scrap that bus.
It's radioactive. Don't touch it.
Yeah, I'm going to put down some ugly ass camps for them to flip. So I'm going to have 3 people competing in that.
Oh, yeah, that's so cute.
I have a camp.
I was going to say you should flip Shalene's.
Oh my God, if I could blueprint Shalene's camp and have people to fix that up. The worst thing about, we could do it IRL. Oh, I like that idea.
That would be a great spin-off series where you do this like HGTV themed thing where you go into somebody's camp. Okay,
Wasteland TV.
Roger and Crystal have had this camp for 4 years. They owe X amount of dollars on it, and they keep getting, grieved by death claws. And so we're going to.
If you need a camp, I've got one at your disposal.
Please fix her camp because
it is dispose of it.
Well, you could enter your camp in the Ugly Camp contest my friend Renee is doing as part of Fallout for Hope, and that's going to be awesome.
I'm pretty sure I could crush that.
Please do. Just a 2-minute video. You've got the thing. But back to Fallout for Hope. Many streamers are doing so many events. So we've got some main stage ones. My Flip This Camp is going to be main stage. We've got some main stage game show type things like Dweller Drop. Dweller Drop is a fun one where people fall from the highest height, kind of like lawn darts, trying to hit the right
that is amazing.
target at bottom. Yeah. Gonna have Apocalypse Squares again, which if you saw Apocalypse Squares before, got a number of people from Beth and other people in the community jumping in.
That was a great show.
Hollywood Squares type thing. Yeah. Oh, it's really fun, Rick. And what's funny is when you first jump, we try to build it high enough you can't even really see the target when you jump. So it's just like wee. Good times.
Beautiful.
The possible biggest event is going to be a Christmas Carol.
Ooh.
So we are doing a Christmas Carol on the main stage, rewritten by Kenny with some input from different people. And the actors are going to be people from Bethesda and voice actors from Fallout. People like Courtney Taylor are going to be in this.
That's great.
That is awesome.
It's going to be amazing. But a lot of different people on Bethesda staff, a lot of voice actors. Wes Johnson, is he going to be, I think he's actually going to be Scrooge. He's either going to be Scrooge or one of the ghosts.
Very cool.
Yeah, just amazing.
It would be an extremely perfect Scrooge.
And it's a whole production in Fallout.
Yep. We're building sets and all that.
That is great. I love it.
Awesome. And so are the outfits going to be specially designed by Bethesda, or can you comment on that?
If only we could. I don't think there's anything custom tailored on outfits, but we'll see. We'll see what we get in the item shop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So A Christmas Carol is like every year I have to watch like every version of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol that's ever been made in Hollywood. Like I have to watch all of them. I even have like a first edition of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol that I read every year. Like it's a big part of my life. I don't know why. I think I'm just fascinated with that era in the 1840s. But that's really cool. Is that going to be like recorded and then posted to YouTube or anything?
Absolutely, yeah. It will be put up after. I mean, there'll be the VOD online, and I'm sure it will be recorded and posted somewhere. Can't say exactly where yet, but it will be.
I love it. I love it.
The other big event that I'm working on, besides that, I mean, I might run in one of the competitions and help on a few of the different things, but to wrap up the festival, my friend Shredder and I from El Gato Pub, I do a lot of stuff with her on El Gato Pub too. Get another channel I work on, but Shredder and I hosted a Mothman parade for the Mothman Festival this September. We have a radio station, KMTH, K-Moth, all moth all the time. And we're bringing KMTH back for Fallout for Hope. And we're going to go looking at Christmas lights. We are going to comment and you may possibly have a lot of fun with some camp builders out there and check out their different lighting displays. We're going to end at the White Spring, and I am building a giant Christmas tree so we can have a tree lighting ceremony to end the parade.
That is great.
Awesome.
That's so fun.
That's incredible.
Just everything we can think of. You know what I mean? It's one of the things about the 76 sandbox is that it's so open.
Yes.
Sky's the limit. There are a lot of things we can't do, sure, but if you can think of it, there might be a way to make it happen. And
so have you got a roadmap? How can people find out and watch or get involved with these events?
For Fallout for Hope, you're going to want to go just look for the hashtag Fallout for Hope. I'm checking to see. We will have a website. Yes, it's going to be falloutforhope.com. FOR, it's spelled out. So falloutforhope.com. We also do have a Twitter this year. Going to be twitter.com/falloutforhope. Going to have an Instagram and even a Twitch team, which at the moment, I believe we just passed 300 streamers this year.
Nice.
This year, because we are partnering with St. Jude's as opposed to just doing it to help them, there's a little bit of verification. We want to make sure, check things and then have you join the team. But yeah, it's looking great. People coming together, and I really hope everybody turns out for the excitement.
That's great. Cool. Sounds like you're very, very busy.
Yeah, leading up to that, that's going to be exciting. And then, of course, on my channel, United Wastelanders Network, I've still got camp shows planned and other stuff for next month. So it's going to be good. Going to be a great December, and then time off for Christmas.
Yeah.
Good. It sounds like you'll need it after all that. I'm
super glad that we were able to sneak you in before all of this chaos happens. Yeah. Because it's nice to have you on the show, and then of course we'll have to have you back so you can tell us about all of the things that happened.
Oh, that would be awesome. But we probably ought to get into gameplay because, man.
Yeah. We'll have our people call your people.
Awesome.
I mean...
Wait, we have people?
Well, it's really just me sending you a direct
Pretty
message.
much, yeah.
Okay.
Vendors
Sounds
are people.
good.
Vendors are people.
Yeah.
I mean, all that is... There's so much information. You have so much going on. It seems like you really like playing Fallout and Bethesda games in general. And... I'm just curious, though, what have you been playing recently?
I've been playing Skyrim.
Really? Were you one of,
didn't hear,
were you
it just
one
had
of
an
those
anniversary.
folks that got that new version of Skyrim? What's the what vendor?
Yeah, Skyrim Anniversary Edition.
This is the segue.
It is the segue. It's the segue.
We already segued. We're already here.
We already did the
We did it.
segue.
Yeah.
We were almost successful.
Segues are so much better when you point them out.
So
yeah, I've been playing Skyrim Anniversary Edition, loving it. Okay, so I play Skyrim with mods. Hadn't really touched Skyrim since before 76 came out. Played a lot of it over the years, of course. But yeah, so I got it all installed, and I spent a week playing the game of mods on Xbox, because I play on Xbox, not PC, getting my mods set up just right. And finally this past week, I was able to actually play a bit. Loving it. Because I love photo mode so much and it doesn't have one, I'm doing all the workarounds I can. Mods to minimize, the HUD, mods to kind of change colors and do everything I can to make it work. And then I still have to, turn off the HUD regularly, try to position my character. But I'm doing a lot of photography. Yeah, so it's great to be back in Skyrim. Oh my
How's
goodness.
the fishing?
Fishing is not as good as I'd hoped it would be.
So it's clunky.
So
Disappointing.
that was one of the reasons why I jumped back in. Well, I jumped back in because Skyrim, but I was excited about fishing. I like fishing in Stardew, pretty much every game. Lord of the Rings Online, best fishing ever. Love fishing in Lotro.
Huh.
So the thing about Skyrim fishing, you can only fish in specific locations where you can interact with a bait bucket and then start the fishing routine.
Oh,
So you can't just cast your line anywhere you want.
gotcha.
Now, there are a lot of bait buckets, and you can find maps to show you more. And I've found like 4 or 5 different locations so far in this playthrough. And it's not quite as random. With fishing, it can be fun when you actually just just lackadaisically watching your line, and eventually it starts jerking and you reel something in. This one, you can pretty much tell it's going to be within, 10 to 14 seconds. You're there for a certain amount of time, 2 or 3 bobs, and then you reel. So it's a little bit too regulated, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not as much time for the mind to wander like it really does when you're fishing.
That's a bummer.
Fishing? All I heard was fishing.
Skyrim fishing.
Ah, I'm a sucker for video game fishing.
It's wonderful. It is still fun, but it's not quite what I would want yet. But
Gotcha.
all the Creation Club stuff, I mean, you guys know what Skyrim SC. On top of the 48 things already out for creations, they've added like 26 or 28 more. There's so much to it. We've got Alien Ruins. We've got everything happening. Yeah,
Alien
for real.
Ruins? No. I'm gonna have to do it now.
There's a creation club called The Cause, which is about the return of the Mythic Dawn. Also Oblivion restaurants. Reference, not a restaurant. I don't
I was like,
Oblivion
what?
restaurants.
Do I get to run a restaurant? I was
Now
excited
you're on
for
to
a minute.
something. Now you're on to something.
Alien Ruins were just everything to Oblivion with me. There was nothing better than going through an Alien Ruin and thinking you found everything, and then finding a switch and it drops a wall, and then there's a whole other sprawling ruin, and you're like, I'm gonna be here for another 3 hours. Oh gosh.
The colors and that glow. Yeah, I love them. So there's that. There's also a Morrowind DLC, Creation Club DLC, and a number of smaller things, but all kinds of cool things, free houses. It's all part of the package. So I'm not here to advertise the game, but I will say it's running really smooth with me. I've got like 108 mods, even on Xbox, and it's running fine.
That's a lot of mods.
There's a reason why it takes me a week to put my loader together, but I got it working.
Do you hit start and then go to the mall or something and then just come back in 4 hours? Or
well, there's this console called a Series X that I happen to own. So
oh right, and it's trillions of computing power in nanoseconds.
Many teraflops.
How many
What's
teraflops?
Teraflops. Yeah.
Funny thing, because I knew I'd have so many mods, games from last gen you can install on the external, but I definitely installed Skyrim on the internal SSD and all the mods just to make sure it was running smoothly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, horse armor power. I love it. They definitely do have horse armor.
Oh, that's great. What else are you playing?
That's pretty much it. And Fallout 76, we've talked about that enough. I played a couple of visual novels that I was telling Shalene about that I really enjoyed. A couple of vampire visual novels 2 weeks ago. Really enjoyed those. 76 has really slowed down my playing other games. Still do,
Yes.
but it becomes a life. Like I said, it's the playthrough that never really ends.
Mhm.
That's what happens when a game consumes you.
Yeah,
is
it
that-
becomes a place where you hang out with your friends, and less a game, more of a hobby.
Exactly. Place to live. But I still, especially lately, I've been trying to get, at least 1 or 2 other games a month, indie games or large games. This year, Mass Effect and Fable were my big playthroughs, all the Legendary Edition, all that.
Yep. Yeah, I did the Legendary Edition of Mass Effect as well. Yeah.
It's funny. And the Xbox, the fact that they just did the museum where you could see how much you play different games, and I mentioned 76 was my top. Even though it only came out in May, Legendary Edition is in my top 5 most played games already.
Oh wow!
Nice.
300 some odd hours in there. So yeah.
That series.
I
Such a
think my
great
top
series.
was Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was on the list for sure in my top 5.
Nice.
Ark
Cool.
still steals the top spot for me. I haven't been able to get over That
Can't top
the amount
it.
of hours that I put into that.
You put in so many hours to Ark.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was stupid.
It's crazy.
And then I went out, I retired on a high. We built a city, and then I left and never came back. It was like one of those people in Minecraft that build an entire like replicated like New York City or something. They just build the whole Manhattan Island or something. Yeah.
Well, not to we've been talking to me a lot, so not to race on somebody else. But what have you been playing, Rick?
Oh, well,
look at this.
yeah, taking over
She's just
hosting.
really fitting into that host seat, hey?
She's a pro.
I love it.
Good pass. Actually, Forza Horizon 5, I picked that up. It's on Game Pass, and so I decided to give it a whirly twirl. And I never really liked any of the other Horizons, but for some reason this one really kind of connected with me. I don't know if it's because I finally set it up to where it's kind of a realistic kind of simulator. I turned off all like the assists, turned off the braking assists, turned off
That's
the
how you do
rewind.
it.
And,
That's how you do it.
I still use ABS. I cannot not have ABS. But like
Are
traction
you
control
playing
and
it mouse keyboard? Or are you playing it on controller or?
Dude, controller. Could
Okay,
you imagine doing turns with WASDs? No, that ain't gonna happen. So I've been playing that, and what's really cool is every week they go through a season. So like, week 1 was like summer, week 2 fall, winter, so forth, and you earn points to unlock cars. And last week, one of the festivals was this stupid. You had to have this like 1965 Baja Beetle bug thing. It was like this jacked up Volkswagen Beetle with these fat tires.
Very, very like Mad Max kind of.
Yeah, but like a Baja, like you would see them doing like the Dakar 500,
like the dune races and stuff.
Yeah. And it was the worst vehicle ever in the game, and it sucked. And it just would do random stuff because it felt like spinning out for no apparent reason or going off a jump perfectly straight. It's like, we're going to turn as we go off the jump. And it was the worst. I almost stopped playing the game entirely just getting through these awful, awful Baja races. I had to turn on like all the assists and rewind because this Beetle was the worst vehicle ever. And
now I hear Forza is like really good for like off-roading. And
yes, the
it's
drifting and rally.
I kind of need to get it. Because off-roading is a huge thing where I live, and I'm totally against it. But I'm all for playing it in video games.
The drifting and rally component of this game is where it shines, in my opinion. I personally think the vehicles feel a little too slippery on track. And I think that's because the way the physics are set up, it's really geared towards like rally and off-road. So some of the best feeling cars are all-wheel drive vehicles, like rally escorts, Peugeot rally cars. They all feel really Peugeot.
Pizzot?
No, Peugeot.
Okay.
Pigeon? I never knew how to pronounce that.
Peugeot?
Pizzot?
Peugeot?
Peugeot.
It's a French company. They make really interesting cars, and they make some nice rally cars that were tuned, at least in this game. They're fantastic. The Hoonigan tuned stuff is great in this game as well. But
Hoonigan?
Hoonigan. Yeah, it's
like ride whips and hoons?
No, Hoonigan. It's a tuning company. I think it's like a part of the whole Ken Block, Jimmy Kana situation. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, they make some ridiculous cars, and a bunch of their tuned special vehicles are in this game. Like they have a Mustang that's just a ridiculous drift car that's in the game. But anyway, I was talking to what's really cool is you other racers that you're friends with are the NPCs in the game. So when you're doing a random race, it'll have your friends' cars with their personalized license plate racing against you as an NPC. It's not actually the person. So that's pretty cool because you can see other people's cars that they've got. And I noticed this one person. I'm like, I feel like that's my boss. So one day I went into work and I was like, hey, is this your name in Xbox? He's like, yeah. And I was like, do you play Forza Horizon 5? He's like, I've played all of them. I love this game. And I'm like,
so
oh, I thought that was you. And,
that's great.
So now you're Forza buddies.
Well, like the other night I was playing, and there's this thing called Rivals where you can kind of like do a particular race and challenge someone to try to beat you. I get this like rival pop up, and I thought it was my buddy who I had just beat. He was trying to break a minute with this like AMG Mercedes crazy car, and he got close to a minute, but I broke under a minute and beat him. And he was kind of teed off about that. But then I looked at this rival thing, and it was my boss challenged me to that same race, and he did 58 seconds, like almost a second faster than me. And I'm like, so I spent
now
like an hour and a half
colliding.
I spent like an hour and a half trying to beat this stupid lap time of his, and I got.
Let your boss win.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, you should always let your boss win, Rick.
I'm gonna beat him.
If you want that raise, you gotta let him win in Forza.
And I spent an hour and a half doing lap after lap after lap trying to break this 58-second mark, and I had him on one lap, and I was coming up to turn 10, which is the final turn, which if you do it right, all you have to do is touch the brake as you're hitting the apex of the corner and then punch it, and you're good. And you could cross the finish line at like 156. And I didn't do it right, and I bumped off the sidewall, and his little ghost went right past me. I was like, darn it!
Dang it!
I was so close. And then I went to bed. So he's now my rival. But yeah, that game is a lot of fun. And
I wonder how that would be on my wheel.
Apparently, cars feel really slippery on the wheel. Apparently, there's been a lot of like tuning calibration issues with wheels feeling really wonky.
I'll wait.
So I've been playing that. The other game that I've been playing is Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I've been that's bringing back like old Oblivion vibes for me. That's the way that this game feels. Only it's much more difficult because it's realistic. And so I have all the DLC, and I've been doing these ancient map treasure hunts and going around, and you find these graves, you dig them up, and you start piecing together this warhorse armor. And I started wearing this like crazy warhorse armor, and I put on this helmet. I forget what it's called, but it has like a visor you put down. So I'm riding on the road, and I get ambushed by guys, and it's the first time I'm getting in combat with my new armor. So I pull out my sword, and as I do, he moves his hand up and closes the visor. So I've got this little tank view.
Oh shit!
And
I'm
like,
amazing.
oh no! Like I already have such a hard time fighting multiple people, and now I have like
going down.
no.
Down.
Game. I love it so much.
And what's crazy is I'm able to fight multiple people now because this armor is so good. And as you level up your sword, you get to unlock combos, right? So like slash right, left, and then stab, stab, and it like tricks them and they can stab them. And I could never pull off combos. And I've been playing this game for 30 hours, and I pulled a Shalene, admittedly. And in my defense, the game has no hand-holding at all. Like the game has
Did you passively shoot someone and play it off like it was an accident, or?
I've been unlocking combos with the short sword and the bastard sword for like 31 hours. So I was like, I'm going to go train with Captain Bernard, because you can train with people and level up your sword skill that way. And when I look in the training options, combos was a thing. And I'm like, wait a sec. And I click that, and it's like, all right, today we're going to learn combos. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I had, like, you were able to just unlock the combo perks, but you can't use them until you train on how to use combos, but the game never tells you this.
Yeah, they expect you to play it and
figure it out.
Let's reference back to the last episode of Gamestack where you were talking about your adventure with the priest.
With the priest, yeah.
So par for the course.
I've learned combos, and then I learned something called master techniques, which is a riposte. And when you do a perfect block, you move the sword away and stab him again. And ever since I learned all that stuff, I have been murder killing every bandit I come across, slicing off their ear and keeping it in my pocket to sell as a trophy. And so I'm riding on the road, and after all this, I'm feeling kind of proud of myself. And I'm riding on the road, fast traveling, and as you fast travel, you could run into issues where you could either scout it or try to escape. And one of them was like, "Oh, you see an armed peasant on the road." I'm like, armed peasant, scout. So I pop in, I'm on my horse, and I see one armed peasant with a bludgeon, like a wooden stick, and I'm like, pfft. So I hop off, and I walk up to him, and he's like, "What are you doing on my road?" And I pull out my sword, lower my visor, and 10 come out of the bushes. There's 10. 10
Is anyone else having like Monty Python vibes right now?
Yes, so much.
I tried to bravely run away. It did not work because they kept
my
hitting me
gosh.
and they like knocked me around. They kept, and it just, I died in about a second because there were 10 people. And it's not like a movie where like one fights you.
It's just a flesh wound.
Then you go to the next one, and the other ones are like standing around waiting for you to get done that one-on-one. No, they just swarm you. Like that's just
He's
how it
not
works.
dead. He's resting.
He's pining for the fields. One of the techniques, though, is usually bandits come with an archer. So there's like 2 guys that are advancing, 2 or 3 guys, and there's an archer in the background. I've learned that archers are very much like Shalene, that if you keep the enemies between you and that archer, he's still going to shoot arrows at you and hit his own guys. So it helps when you do that because they shield you, but also like you'll see like an arrow stick in their arm. And I saw one guy, I think it was a glitch, but it was hilarious. He gets shot in the back shoulder with an arrow and he stops fighting me and he turns around and looks at the archer for like a good 5 seconds and then turns back around and starts fighting.
I don't think it was a glitch.
I don't
That's what you
know,
would
but
do.
It's just like, it's like twonk.
That's what
and
you
he
would
just
do when
turns.
I shot you in the back with an arrow.
He's
To be
staring
like,
at the archer.
seriously?
Like, why did you just shoot me?
So
And,
the AI is good.
Only true friends shoot each other in the back, right?
It's great.
It
And
was in the pan. I'll have you know, it was in the pan.
And so I finally I got like a bunch. I got like 4,000 groschen, and I went to Ushitz because I was like, it's time for me to buy a new horse. And I go to Ushitz, and
Blew on my Groshen and Ushitz.
I did.
You're just
I went to
making
the-
noises, Frick.
What is that?
Groschen was the currency in the Czech Republic at that time in the 70s or
Okay.
whatever. And Ushitz is a city in that town, in that area.
Okay.
So I go there and I go to the stables and I see this majestic horse. It's a big stallion and its perks destroy mine. And I was like, well, how much for that stallion over there?
But
And
that
he's
doggy
like,
in the window?
2,000. So I was like, here's my money. And then I was like, how much for the like this red drape? So it's like this cow that covers the horse's head, its mane, and this red drape, this red drape, the whole
Like
thing.
velvet or something.
And it's got these nice little crosses on it and stuff. So I bought that. I got a fine saddle with 2 saddlebags. I got
Ooh.
military
You are
horseshoes.
fancy.
And I got a knight's bridle system. And
Oh,
I went from
lovely.
I went from 4,000 groschen to like 270 because I bought a horse and all this. And I even traded in my old horse. Pebbles was his name.
Aw.
And I gave
What's
Pebbles
That is
the
the
away.
name.
name?
That is a name that you give to a tragic horse, though.
What is
honestly,
my new
the
horse's
scrawny
name?
nag. The scrawny
Oh,
nag
it
named
was.
Pebbles.
You get it for free if you beat if you do a hunting quest thing. My new horse's name is Kanthaka. It was pre-named Kanthaka.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I have so now I look very knightly with my helmet and all my armor and everything and whatnot. So that's a lot of fun.
We're gonna have to start calling you Sir Rick.
Sir Rick. Yeah, Sir Dick. So I've also been playing Battlefield 2040 Turd is what I call it. It's free for 10 hours on the Xbox Game Pass, and I didn't even finish that 10 hours. So it's kind of set up that the main Battlefield game, there's 2 game modes for the main Battlefield 2042 game. There's not that many guns to unlock, and when you unlock new mods like red dots or front grips, new barrels, things like that, you kind of pick what set of mods you want on your gun, and when you're in the game, you can hit the T button and you hold your gun up in front of you, and you can quick swap your kit, and then just the gun will automatically have those on it. So if you're in the middle of a firefight and there's a dude really far away, you can quickly pop on a scope, and then you can use that. So it's kind of a new, interesting system. But the problem is sometimes when you mod your gun and then he brings the gun back up, there's no gun no more. And it's just his hand holding nothing. And you shoot and there's a muzzle flash, but there's no gun. And then when you finally aim down the sights, then the gun goes boop and pops into place. I spent some time shooting a dude, seeing blood fly out and getting no hit markers. That was a fun old time. There's a anti-rocket launcher that I use called the Carl Gustav. It's known for being very effective in real life, and it's just a single. It's a recoilless rifle. You put a rocket in, close the back, foof, there it goes. And a new vehicle type in this game are hovercrafts, right? So hovercrafts sit on this little rubber cushion. They go wee around, and these happen to be armored on the top with some machine guns. And wouldn't you know it, that little rubber balloon shrugs off Carl Gustav's like flies. Like,
oh my
it's
goodness.
so, like, I had an EMP grenade, which is supposed to disable vehicles. Pop the EMP grenade, goes off. I can see all the electrical current going around the vehicle. It says vehicle disabled, and I'm watching it go scooting around, shooting like nothing's bothering it. I hit it with like 2 rockets. It's fine. Shrugs it off. No big deal. I mean, there was one time me and this tank were fighting it out. I hit it with two Carl Gustavs. Another dude came up and hit it with 2 Carl Gustavs. And as it's driving down the road, I pop around the corner and I fire a rocket right up the back and hit it in the rear, which is the weak spot. And it goes boom. And then it leaves a black like burn mark on this tank. As it drives away, I'm standing in the middle of the road and there's a war going on, just staring at the tank driving off after getting hit 5 times. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, I'm just standing in the middle of the road with a rocket launcher. Like, what is the point to all this? The game, like, somebody in the chat was like, this game is so empty, and I was like, not as empty as the warhead and the Carl Gustav rocket launcher, because apparently it just does nothing. So, like, all of the vehicles are super overpowered. There's actually a sniper rifle in the game that does more damage to the tanks and vehicles than the rocket launcher does.
Ugh.
So, along with shaders not loading, along with the game being locked at 60. So I locked the game at 60 frames a second with a refresh rate that matches my monitor with VSync on, and I still get frame tearing all the time. The screen tears. There's lag like crazy. It's a broken mess. It feels like what's that one game? Planetside 2, which was like a free-to-play FPS for a while. It feels like that. And this is like from Dice and EA. Where the game is fantastic is their portal. The portal is where you can make your own servers, and there's special things. So, like, they brought back certain game modes from Battlefield 2. Those are super fun to play because it's like playing those older games. They put in Battlefield 1942 Conquest, which is like 1942. There's not a lot to unlock, but it's just like playing like an old Battlefield game again. But the other thing that they do is they let you build your own servers, so you can have Marines from 2042 fight Nazis from 1942 with the technology difference, and you can have like that going on. So you can kind of do anything in Portal, and that's where I think the game shines, but it will not get past its broken features. They recently did an update they made the hovercraft less OP. I haven't seen that because it's still ridiculously tough. And again, when you put a rocket into a rubber balloon, it should go pop, or at least stop the hovercraft for like a minute or something. I don't know. It's so bad. So I uninstalled it twice. I installed it twice, I guess. But yeah, the last game that I've been playing is a new one, and it's a board game called Mysterium. And I took my kid to Target, and I said, let's pick out a game that you want to try. And I was like, Settlers of Catan. She's like, it doesn't look interesting. And she's like, this looks interesting. And I'm like, well, that's a pretty young game. That's like for ages like 4 to whatever, but it looks cool, like a mouse hunt kind of thing. And then I found this game called Mysterium, and I had her read the back of it. And basically, some psychics go to a haunted house, and it's like Clue. Psychics go to a haunted house, and the ghost of the haunted house gives the psychics visions that the psychics have to interpret and match it to a person, location, and an object. And one player is the ghost, and you can't say anything, but you hand the vision cards to the psychics, and the psychics have to try to figure out, so like if I'm trying to get people to guess like a screwdriver, I have these vision cards that may or may not have anything to do with a screwdriver. I have to try to like guide them to pick the right object or whatever. And we've been playing that every Sunday. Because Sunday mornings we all play board games as a family, and that's been like the one that's been the hit of the family, and that's a lot of fun. Sounds
fun.
Yeah. So if anybody's a board game fan, apparently Moxie in the chat was just like, oh, I love Mysterium. Yeah. My kid is 8, and the suggestion on the box is like 10 or whatever, and she doesn't have a problem. She can even be she's a very good ghost. She can nail those visions like nobody's business.
Nice.
But the problem is sometimes is she looks at things as an 8-year-old and interprets them like an 8-year-old. So I'm getting like visions that have nothing to do with anything. And I'm like, why did you pick that? And she's like, because he's an explorer. And I'm like, no, those are battle maps, kid. And she's like, oh, it's a soldier. Okay. So like, it's sometimes I have to think like, how would an 8-year-old interpret this card? You know, and that's been kind of a fun thing. Like, what if it is a kid ghost? But anyway, Vendor, what about you? What have you been playing?
Yeah. I've been, well, I won't spend too much time because I think we're running out of time, but I did partake in a Sea of Thieves takeover with Octagon Ron's group. If you guys don't recall, Octagon Ron is a previous streamer that we have spotlighted on the show. She is a Sea of Thieves partner and actively streaming Sea of Thieves every day. And we did this Sea of Thieves takeover. It was her classic Christmas annual takeover. We had 5 ships. For some reason, we were unable to get the 6th ship, but we had 5 ships on the server, and I had Grim and T on my boat with me, and there was a bunch of other people in the server as well, and we just sort of like sailed around and dug chests and did a couple forts, and I have never been rared so hard in my Sea of Thieves career. And when when the Kraken shows up, or you get a boat on you or a Meg, we call that being rared when an NPC sort of attacks you.
Mm-hmm.
We probably sunk at least 12 Skelly ships that had spawned on us that day. We got Krakened twice, and I can't even tell you how many Megs. It was like the weirdest thing. It was weird. So anyways, I do have some pictures that I took, and Rick, if you've got them, cue them up. But we did something that's called Glitterbeard. Have you guys heard of Glitterbeard?
I've seen those journals around at some of the sea posts.
Okay,
Oh,
now
cool.
so this is our crew. This is all of us on the ship of the damned.
After
One of the things
accident.
we wanted to see if we could respawn the Glitterbeard story trigger by staying on the ship of the damned. So this is all of us. I'm on the capstan on the left side. You can tell my character doing the flash dance pose, and then just directly opposite of me is Bud Run, and then on the bottom left in the very front, also doing flash dance, is Ron, and then there's a bunch of other people in our group. Yeah, so that was a really good one. This is the tree. So the story of Glitterbeard is that Glitterbeard is this sort of lore phenomenon in Sea of Thieves that there was a data analyst that worked for Sea of Thieves, who created much of the content in Sea of Thieves, and he passed away last year from COVID. And so the development team at Rare created this story and this lore in the Sea of Thieves universe about him and his contributions to the game. I don't want to go into spoilers though here. Do you guys want me to tell you like the full story of Glitterbeard and like my experience, or do you want me to just leave that out?
No, let's experience it together sometime.
Okay.
Let's not spoil it.
So James White was the apprentice data analyst at Rare. He was the first apprentice to ever join the studio and is known as a gentle giant with a warm, hearty laugh, down-to-earth demeanor, and an epic beard that would make even the greatest pirates glow with pride. He was just starting his career in the gaming industry, and he had played an instrumental part in the development of Sea of Thieves. And he developed a lot of the content and objects that you see in the world. So in Glitterbeard, when you want to do the Glitterbeard's quest, you have to gather in this island somewhere on the map, and you have to do a certain thing to activate the quest. And so this picture that you see is me standing in front of the Glitterbeard tree. And what we had done that whole day was all 5 ships sailed around the map, and we picked up as many shiny things as we could. So if it glowed, if it was a gem, if it was a skull, we grabbed it. And so there's some ghost chests. Here's another picture, JW. We spelled out his initials in gems. But there was so much loot. There was so much loot. And holy crap, you guys, waterworks. I bawled.
Oh.
Like
Oh.
it was when you activate the quest and you go through the story,
Aw.
and I will spoil a small part of it. The Glitterbeard journals throughout the map is about him and his
Aw.
story. Part of the quest is a message that he leaves to everybody.
Aw.
And so when you do that, you get to read that and you hear his message, and it's just this thing, and it's just like I was a spray bark. It was so bad. But anyways, that's all the loot. And it was an
Oh my
awesome day.
goodness.
It was probably one of my best days sailing on the seas, and that's my crew.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, I hope that we can do it together. We do have a Sea of Thieves takeover for WJLG community with House of Hooligans as well on January 8th. So if you're interested in taking part in that, send me a message and we will get that going.
Awesome.
Very quickly, also played Farm Sim 22. It dropped this week on Monday. It is awesome.
Nice.
Cool.
It's so good. The graphics are much improved. There are some things about the UI that I would like to change, but it's great. We got our server back up and running. Raven and I have been plowing fields like nobody's business. On to you, Shalene.
Okay. Well, I have jumped back into Animal Crossing. Of course, they got a bunch of new content added to Animal Crossing that I've been really excited to try. And so I got it all installed and jumped into Animal Crossing. And one of the first things that I noticed, my pockets were full when I logged on. So, like, okay, I've got to go to the store, empty my pockets. So I'm walking to the store. And on my way to the store, I noticed that in the town square, there's a little boom box next to City Hall. And I'm like, that's new. There was not a boom box at City Hall. So I went over to look at it and I interacted with it. And it said, would you like to stretch with your villagers? And I said, of course I'd like to stretch with my villagers. That sounds fantastic. And it's a thing. Sometimes your little villagers will exercise in the town square. They'll do stretches or teeny tiny yoga or something adorable like that. And so I activated this stretching thing, and it's a whole mini game. It's not just a little scene where your character stretches. You pull the Joy-Cons off of your Switch and put your Switch on the table and stand up, and you actually stretch with your villagers.
Amazing.
It was so cute, you guys. It was so cute. But yeah, it was a very Wii Fit sort of moment that I shared with my little villagers. It was very cute. I was laughing. And of course, they added Captain the Turtle back to the game. And Captain, you get on his boat and he takes you to some special islands that can only be reached by boat. And the best part about taking a ride with Captain is that he sings you sea shanties while you travel. And it's the cutest thing. And there's they don't really talk in Animal Crossing. They just kind of make adorable noises. So it's all subtitles. But he's singing these little cute noises, and his little subtitles are the shanties. He sang a song about his grandma the other day. It was great. He's just the best.
Wow.
I love his little sea shanties. So good. And another character they've added is fan favorite Brewster, the coffee pigeon. And so I've met Brewster and invited him to come and open up a coffee shop at my island.
I love
And
that his name is Brewster.
yes, isn't it great? Brewster should open tomorrow, his coffee shop in the museum. I'm very excited about it. I also found that you can now enact ordinances on your island that will affect the behavior of your villagers. And so I was asking Isabel, okay, tell me about these ordinances. And there's one called the Beautiful Island Ordinance. And I enacted that because it will get these little lazy bums to help me pick up weeds. There are so many weeds on my island all the time, and nobody helps me.
Oh,
But now they can help me pick weeds. So
That
get
sounds very
busy.
relaxing. Just pulling weeds for an hour. I mean, boring, but relaxing.
And of course, yesterday was Thanksgiving, and Franklin the turkey came to cook us all a lovely Thanksgiving dinner. So I helped him find ingredients and make the most perfect versions of each of his dishes. And it was so fun. And I'm having a lot of fun just diving back into the routine Animal Crossing stuff, not just the new stuff. I'm very excited to completely redecorate my house. I just want to completely tear down and redecorate my house. And I've mentioned in the past that I've got a problem with overpopulation of tulips. This tulip situation is extremely out of control. And I'm not going to let it go any farther. The tulips must be dealt with. So,
All right.
So there's going to be some tulip warfare this week. And of course, for Survival Horror Sunday last week, I played some Back for Blood with Rick and Archin. And that was good times. It is a very fun game to play.
It's great.
I really enjoy playing this with you guys. I will say that I think that whole card system is fussy and not fun.
It's not, and it is.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's awful.
It's not hard.
No fun at all.
Nah,
we did a level in a bar where we had to activate a jukebox and defend the bar.
So
And
good.
that was a really, really fun level. I really liked that. And that came shortly after traveling through a library, which I also really enjoyed. But one thing that I do wish is that you had a little more time to explore the levels. Because if you stay in one place for too long, they just send more zombies after you.
Yeah.
And I really like looking around video game environments, and that's not really the thing to do in Back for Blood.
You just got to play the same level over and over again.
They punish you for that. So, but we did have fun. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. And earlier today, I went sailing with Archin. So I did a thing, you guys. I did a dumb thing.
Yeah, I want to know what this is really bad.
I debated whether or not I would even share this story. It was so dumb. It was so dumb that I actually managed to astonish Archin. This is a man who is very, very used to me and my silliness. And he was shocked today.
What did you do?
So, okay, it's a whole story. We took a brig because, brigs are the best. So we hopped in a brig, and I really wanted to just hang out with him, just have some relaxing, chill time. So we didn't have a big agenda. We thought maybe we'd check out our commendations and just work on some achievement type things. And for the Tall Tale commendations, we need to do the Wild Rose quest 3 more times to finish the commendation for Wild Rose. So we thought, yeah, let's just do a run through of Wild Rose. It'll be great. It's not a super hard quest, it's not too time consuming or anything. And we go to start this quest, and we run into a brig with diaper sails. And this brig harassed us for so long, and we were just trying to land at the island to start the quest. And I'm like, dudes, can you chill? Simmer
Jess,
down.
do you know what diaper sails are?
No, I do not.
So diaper sails are the plain white sails that your boat has when it's not decorated.
Oh, okay. I was picturing dirty. So okay.
usually when we say diaper sails, it means either 1, it's a new player, or 2, it's a really experienced player who's trying to troll people and think that they're
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That makes sense. I thought it was something new in the game.
So these guys, I'm like, simmer down, guys. We just want to start this Tall Tale. We have no loot. We just want to start this Tall Tale. And so they keep chasing us. They're shooting cannonballs at us, and I don't feel like a fight today. It's not a fighty type of day for me. I just wanted to chill and sail and be calm. And So we end up just driving by the island and jumping off one at a time to start this quest. And we get it started. We encounter this diaper brig a couple more times and have to outrun them. And like, I'm very annoyed about it. And we were progressing through the quest. And we reach this point where we have the compass that shows us where Rose and George are. So we're using this compass and it's pointing directly into Flameheart and his legion of ghost boats. So we sail into Flameheart and his legion of ghost boats.
On a brig with the two of you.
Yeah.
It's really technically just one person.
Hey, no. I help when you guys aren't all there. Yes, when you guys are all there, I don't need to help. It's already all taken care of. But I do help. Ask Archon. I help.
Did you change their diapers? What happened?
Okay.
Yeah,
So, they crashed our ship pretty badly.
Yeah.
And we were near Mermaid's Hideaway. We had a badly damaged rowboat that we managed to load our treasure in and
So you sunk.
landed on Mermaid's Highway. Yes, we sunk.
Okay.
It was really bad. It was they wrecked us. And so Archon was back on the ship because he died. And he was back on the ship. He was really, really far away on the map. Really, really far away. So there were a couple of quests there on Mermaid's Hideaway. So I took care of those and tried really hard not to die. And as he got closer to Mermaid's Hideaway, I loaded all the stuff on the rowboat and started rowing to where he was.
Yeah.
Oh no. I know where this is going.
I am rowing to where he was, and he stops at this island before he triggers Flameheart again. And I'm sailing through Flameheart with my rowboat. I'm just rowing through Flameheart and all his ghost boats. And some guy just happens to be on this island where Archon has stopped. And
oh no, like a camper.
He seems like a friendly guy. You know, he makes friendly overtures, and Archon's like, okay, yeah, that's great. And he lets his guard down, and the guy kills him and takes the small amount of loot that we had on the ship. And so now Archon's been triggered, right? And he's like, nope, I'm gonna kill him. So okay. So he spawns back in, kills the guy. Our ship is on fire. He's trying to put out the fire on the ship. I'm still rowing through Flameheart.
Right.
And I get there. He's got the fire out. The guy is killed. Everything's fine. But it's been like 4 hours that we've been doing this quest. It's like a 40-minute quest, maybe. But we had all of these different things come up, and it took us ages. But we finally got the 2 halves of the Wild Rose pendant that you need to finish the quest. And the next step is to take them back to the Order of Skulls lady, which we do. We get back to the outpost. It's going great. I grab the chest with the pendant in it, and I take it down there. And the lady is standing there in her skull tent, and I hand them to her. And apparently, I failed the quest.
What?
Failed the quest because you're not supposed to hand those pendants to the skull lady. You're supposed to put them on the table in front of her.
You.
Nice.
I could just hear Archon go, Shalene.
He was like, what did you do? I was like, what? He's like, we failed the quest. He's like, what did you do? I was like, I gave him to the lady. It's like,
Moment of silence in chat right now.
and
People pouring grog out.
I was so
sad.
upset. I was so upset. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's okay. We had fun.
Yeah, we had fun. It's fine. You didn't need that hand
okay.
anyway.
It's fine.
Well,
It's fine.
That's
my
a
lord.
really great story, Shalene.
Yeah,
Well,
that's my gameplay.
Jeez. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this ship up like that failed quest. We have some announcements real quick. Joshy in our Discord says, I'll be opening the Foundry server for those wanting to get in on the Pathfinder Dungeons & Dragons game that'll be starting next Sunday, December 5th. I will be around in the Joshy Theater 3000 channel to assist folks with character creation, learning Foundry, Pathfinder system, et al. All the details regarding how to get into the Foundry server are in that Joshy channel. If someone has issues, I'll be around to assist with that also. So please stay tuned to that on December 5th. Hop in our Discord and talk to Joshy about that. We're also sponsored by Manscaped. Shalene, what's the code?
Use our code WJLG at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping worldwide.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We're also sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. Go to oakandcrow.com to the artist page. Buy our We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 of that will go to Children's Miracle Network. Email us at info@wejustlovegames.com because we really miss hearing from you all out there. You can also contact us via Twitter at wejustlovegames.com, at Shalene L, and then you can talk to Vendor at VendorTronN. You can also find us on Facebook.com/WeJustLoveGame or /groups/WeJustLoveGames. To get into our Discord, click the link below us or pop us a message anywhere. Send us an email asking for the link. We will get you in there. Live recording happens at 6:30 Mountain, 8:30 Eastern, here at twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames. That gets posted to YouTube as well as other podcast aggregates, so please like and subscribe to iTunes and YouTube and Stitcher Radio or wherever podcasts are found. If you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes with some texties, we will read it at the beginning of the show. Jess has some contact info as well. Jess, how can people find what you're up to?
Well, if people want to follow me over on the Twitter, it's at Sleep4T. That sleep is for the letter T. You can also follow me at the Fallout feed or at U Wastelanders. That's the letter U Wastelanders for all those accounts. And yeah, please do. If you want to check me on YouTube, just put Jessica Star and Fallout together, and I'm pretty much the only one that comes up.
Awesome. Well, thank you for so much for being here this evening and spending some time with us. And we know you got to get going and do some more podcasting because you're crazy. You're crazy.
We got the Fallout feed tonight to record, and I mean, stuff is happening out there. You can't stop.
Is.
And before this, I was building trap camps with a friend live on Twitch. It was a great time. It's just
Awesome.
Perfect Black Friday.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all for listening, because without you, none of this would be possible. Hey, anybody have a last word for the show?
I do.
What is it?
Appalachia.